So, a question for this week. Now that you're done on the Isle of Five Horns, with slaying the hag and everything, what is your next step? Or what do you think your next step should be?
Profit.
Bargaining with the Skizrael to help us down the hole after we deal with the drow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they are truly enemies of the drow, we might be able to help them, or get their help to infiltrate the fortress.
Did we explore the island yet?
Not all of it, but just I'm trying to come up with
the main
way
issue's been built.
Yeah. The hag that was going to cause a magic mudslide and murder all of you.
Nolgrim will say to explore for a while longer. His curiosity is not quite satiated with the island.
Oh yeah, I still need to finish one more day of transcribing that book before I give it to the gnomes. Just crash here for the night.
Certainly escorting the one back to his tribe and finding out their demeanor would be a good course of action. The gnomes will probably want to tear this island apart and learn its secrets.
Question is, can we leave the island? Well, I guess if we take the gnomes with us, so they're not stranded on the island.
I mean, you have like 3 boats.
Yeah. Yeah, the underwater vessel, and I'm pretty sure they can get the other one working. It's just a matter of time.
Alright, so that just leaves Thrum and Freya's answer.
Is this the game where we have a folding boat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, give this city to the gnomes and start looking for our lost city.
I think we should accompany Mushroom Guy down to the fields that he wanted to go visit.
I think we're in them right now.
Yeah, you're in them right
Yeah,
now.
didn't we sail down to him or something?
Yeah. Probably spend the night here and then do what we need to do here before we head back to the gnomes.
Yeah, so you are in that location, so you know. Go.
Well, then maybe explore him with him until he's satisfied.
Suppose we should check back in on the gnomes, make sure she didn't actually manage to do the thing. I mean, we killed the elementals, but who knows?
Just get back and everyone's dead. It's just boots sticking out of mud. Whoops! We accidentally did genocide.
Well, at least we have a, territory for Dammerhall once we reclaim it.
Man, guys, don't you hate it when you wake up in the morning, you take a wrong step, and accidentally cleanse an entire ethnic group from the face of the world?
It was one adventuring party.
Alright, move you back to the map here. I'm not going to put on the combat music, or the combat map. So, where we had last left off, the dust of the battle had just settled. Fergis had successfully killed the hag, with only Freya being close enough to hear the hag's offer to bargain. So probably that's about where we were, because I believe Thrum, Taskill, and I guess Nolgrim, since he's back, are probably too entangled up with pulling themselves out of the moldy mud monsters that they killed.
Well, unless someone calls them out of Fergus, they're just going to carry on business as usual.
If Michael's saying anything, he's muted.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna take umbrage at that. I guess we just go up to Fergus first and go, "What do you think you were doing?"
Oh, well, she's a hag. Most likely she's just going to lie to us anyway.
I mean, maybe, but it wouldn't have hurt to at least hear some of what she had to say.
I mean, we could have, but at this point, we're doing fine enough on our own that we don't really need to trust every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I say as that we've been accompanied by spiders and gnomes and mushroom people.
Hags are where I draw the line.
I was about to say which one's the dick in that, and then I realized there's a mushroom character. So.
Ivy's clearly the Tom.
Yep, and the spider's the Harry.
Okay. And the mushroom's an explorer hoping to wander around and put his mushroom stamp on the map.
In some very large caves.
Or what? 10 minutes into the game and we're already descending into dick jokes.
Yeah,
Way of
It's
Way of the
D&D
Wicked
without
may
dick
be
jokes.
over, but Nazarima's spirit lives on and on.
I mean, you've seen at least part of Critical Role's campaign too. You know how many dick jokes there are in that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it survives any D&D group without some kind of dick joke.
Nolgrim will chime in and say, I have to agree with Fergis on this one. Dealing with the hag's only more trouble than it's worth. We're doing fine enough on our own.
Hey,
We've already found one lost civilization.
To be fair, who knows if ours is even still around? We might just find rubble.
This is where I disagree.
more than likely she was stalling. And even if she had known the location, I sincerely doubt she'd have traded it. Even for her own head.
I think you're right, boy. Don't trust anyone.
Inside his head is like, wow, this is going better than expected. As long as no one gonna give him any kind of shit, he's just gonna go check on Miku and Ivy, make sure they're both okay. They were kind of on their own for a lot of that fight.
Yeah.
Ivy stabbing repeatedly this corpse that's still wiggling in the rocks.
Oh my god, yeah. It keeps making its Constitution saving throws against all odds. Yeah, Ivy is a bit beat up, but none the worse for wear. Mickey went down for a moment, but Taskill got him back up. And he's kind of now like bent over into a crouch, gazing into the slowly shifting mold pools around you.
You okay there, Miku? You took quite a beating.
He seems lost in thought, not releasing his communication spores at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. There's nothing really threatening us right at the moment, so.
Mhm.
Anyone else feel like a nice long nap?
Aye.
We should probably regroup with the gnomes before we set down for the night.
Let's take the slow way back. Maybe not quite speed there. I want to finish transcribing that book before I hand it back to him. It'll look suspicious if I give it back to him 2 days from now after we've been there. And while I don't want to use what I find in the book without them, I'd like to have it without having to worry about it in the future. Because if anyone forgets, it's the schematics for making that dark vision glass.
Mm-hmm.
Is there sleeping space on the underbulb?
Yeah. If it was just you guys, it would be. It's basically like sleeping on a bus.
Aye. We can stay here and let Miku investigate while you do your work, Fergus, and then we can just take the night on the underbulb.
Miku wouldn't mind company. I wouldn't mind a join. If Miku wouldn't mind some company, I wouldn't mind it joining him and seeing what this area has to offer.
Yeah, you stayed far enough back to not worry about anything, didn't you?
Oh no, I was feeling a bit out of it, I have to admit. Turning to stone kind of took it out of me.
That makes sense.
It's so weird that you're underground, but Fergis still found some shade to throw.
Right? Not just any shade, meta shade.
Yeah.
If you want to be technical, it's all shade.
All right. Sounds like the vast majority is going in for a long rest or a short rest.
I'm gonna spend as much time as I need to transcribe the book, but I would like to get a long rest in after that.
Okay.
Because I know I have 1 day under the belt.
Mhm.
But you said I needed 2 to.
Yep, 2 days. Just because it's dense.
I will actually take a point of exhaustion if it needs to be, but I think if I can manage to squeeze that in with a long rest, I'll try.
No, long rests are usually described as sleeping and light activity, so I would say transcribing can be a light activity. Drink water. So, Nolgrim, I'll give you a brief description of where you're at, since you were missing last session. So you're about here, near the center of the island. You're surrounded by just pools upon pools of this glowing blue cyan mold and lichen in kind of this large boggy expanse. This is also close to the areas like here and here where water is falling from the cavern ceiling as great waterfalls that come rivers down. The area is mostly rocky, but outside of a few mushrooms and mold, the only other life around here are horse-sized dragonflies.
Wow. And so am I to interpret that some of these mountains are actually just massive stalactites?
Yes,
No.
they are massive
Stalagmites.
stalagmites.
That's the one.
If you want, give me a perception or investigation.
We'll go with investigation. Not so good.
That's good enough. Definitely looking around, since much of the violet mist drifting around this lake that you're on here is actually glowing, so your dark vision can go a little bit farther. You actually, by spending some time looking around, you notice that this mountain right here actually does seem to go up to the cavern ceiling.
And which one of these was one that erupted, though? Do we know?
None of them erupted, thankfully. Or at least not that you've seen here so far.
Gotcha. So the cataclysm that caused them all to flee, because I thought, like the rock that had sunk the Underbold, or the Himmelsvard, was a volcanic rock.
It was.
Just not on this island.
The hag monologued briefly last session, saying that she enacted a magical ritual that had killed all the people of Volstenstad.
Okay.
It was not a natural event.
Gotcha. All the more reason it was good to kill her.
Yeah, Miku seems to be spending most of his time just kind of... You would wager he almost looks like he's more lost in thought, wandering around this central pool section here. During combat, he exhibited some magical spore-based powers that he had never shown before. So he might be having a little bit of an awakening at the moment.
Gotcha.
So that's Nolgrim. Fergis is transcribing. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do besides just rest during their long rest?
If Nolgrim's going to go looking around, then Thrum would go too. See if he can.
Yeah, I'm going to cast.
Are there any mushrooms or anything edible around here?
Not that you can really see. It's mostly mold.
All right, then he's not going to be that. Not gonna be looking for mushrooms.
Yeah, because it definitely would nullify a long rest. Oh yeah, and I imagine Freya is casting Mending on the Steel Defender to get it
Oh
going.
yeah, and I've still got that disease, don't I?
Yes, you still have a rather large mold infection from a bite on your leg.
So he would instead take the long rest cleaning that out.
Mm. Okay. One moment. Okay, let's look at a note here. Cool. All right, so I imagine you guys are probably still sleeping in watches anyway, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna sleep on the underball.
But keeping watch is still important.
Okay.
I'd probably switch it up and do the first watch since I'm going to be transcribing anyway.
Okay.
I think I share mine with Ivy anyway, so that way I can do that first before I go to bed.
Got it.
Just kind of switch it up on you a little bit there. I
Yep,
think
no
I'm
worries.
usually second, but you know.
Okay, then. So Thrum, on your watch, where would you be doing your watch from?
Is everybody in the underball?
I imagine it's up to them.
Yeah. So if everybody's in, then he would just be sitting on top of the underball.
Okay. Just for a second. You're sitting on top of the underball. You're looking over the scenery. Miku is still off doing his thing. And you kind of faintly hear the sound of the giant dragonfly wings beating in the air. And all of a sudden, you feel a surprisingly very hot breeze blow by your face. It kind of carries the scent of soot and burning coal. It's a very familiar scent to any true-blooded dwarf.
Did it feel like somebody just threw a fireball at me?
No, definitely not. But it is very strange because you felt nothing like this while you were here in the Underdark before.
Yeah, that would smell less like soot and more like barbecue.
Yeah. You then feel something like a vibration through the ground, rhythmic and constant. You may at first think maybe it's something like the giant's footsteps you had felt before when you had seen the giant, but the cadence, the pacing is all wrong. It's almost more like the rhythmic tapping of a blacksmith's hammer. And as that thought occurs to you, you hear a booming, loud, metallic clang, like hammer striking hot steel on an anvil, that just echoes all around you. And all of you in the underworld instantly wake up hearing this loud clang as well.
What?
Can I tell which direction it came from?
Everywhere. It's like the boom of thunder, and it sounds again with a loud clang. And those of you who are inside the underbald are woken up by this instantly, but you notice that Ivy is still fast asleep.
Yeah, he'd call out to Miku. Oi, what's that?
Still no response from Miku.
Can he see Miku?
Yeah. There's another loud clang as you hear you feel more vibrations through the earth, and you start hearing the faint hum of far-off dwarven voices. And you eventually start feeling, if you hop off the underbelly and onto hard stone of the surface, that the vibration is emanating from a large rock just a few dozen feet away from the underbelly.
Mm-hmm.
I assume like the rest of you are coming out to this as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be keeping my distance and trying to scope at the rock with the spyglass we have.
Mm-hmm. With another loud clang, like on a blacksmith's hammer, the rock visibly shakes as a crack forms down its middle. Another clang, and it seems to part, snapping in half, crumbling away into dust that is still warm, like from a blacksmith's forge. And in the center is a pillar, or like a plinth, clearly of dwarven design and dwarven make, hewn out of the very stone, and resting upon it is a single dwarven stein, engraved with dwarven runes.
Nolgrim's on it.
It's a sign.
Can I throw a knowledge history at it to see if there's any sort of historical significance or iconography on this?
Roll a knowledge religion.
Ooh.
I was about to say that, like, great. First I have a bunch of you fuckers telling me what to do. Now I have the literal God telling me what to do. I just can't, man.
Nolgrim, you're a little like overwhelmed at the moment, but sorry, you got a little loud there. Taskill, this is definitively an omen from Father Mountain.
I just want to see if I recognize it really quick.
Yeah.
Father Mountain smiles on our deeds.
Mm-mm.
If you draw close to the little stand, yeah, Freya, you get the same. Thrum, it's definitely something divine. The little stand, not pillar. I'm thinking of the wrong word, like a lectern that this
Pedestal?
pedestal. Thank you. It's definitely not something that it's not under the rock. It was just made from the rock in front of your eyes. And along the base of the pedestal, there are dwarven runes carved in that everyone who got over 15 on their knowledge religion recognize it as a common saying associated with Father Mountain.
I'm not to be that guy, but did I get anything more from the details with 23?
No, not in this case.
I didn't think I would anyway, because I'm not really that knowledgeable about dwarven religion stuff. So.
Yeah.
I just figured everyone else is doing it, I might as well too.
Basically, the runes are a common phrase that work out to basically meaning guile is the bitterest of galls. Father Mountain is a big patron of honesty.
Could you say that again?
Guile is the bitterest of galls. The stein, basically just a fancy tankard with a lid, is also carved out of the same stone, but is definitely not a part of what it is resting upon. The lid of it appears to be made out of fine silvery mithril engraved with dwarven runes, but the main base of it is stone. The upper third of it has these very intricate and detailed carvings depicting snowy capped mountains with dwarven fortresses dotting their peaks and summits. However, the lower 2/3 still appear to be unworked rough stone.
Yeah, if no one else is, I'm gonna pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, carefully and cautiously, and turn it over in my hand, because stone's solid, but don't want to chip the direct gift from the mountain.
Oh yeah. You pick it right up. There's no issue. I don't think it would take a rocket scientist to figure out this is probably magical.
Yeah. A boon upon our journey.
Aye. Direct intervention from the gods is never something I look forward to.
Yeah, I'm going back to bed.
So anyone can either roll another religion to try to identify it, or you can do a if you have the identify spell, which I think actually takes a pearl.
It's you can do identify as a ritual.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah.
I think it still requires a pearl though.
Material components aren't consumed in 5th, though.
No,
So,
not unless they explicitly state it.
since I've got it, I guess we can say I have one of those pearls.
Yeah.
Or an elf, and an elf feather, but yeah. So,
As usual, Freya and Nolgrim are racing to identify.
so yeah, I'll go ahead and ritual cast that. Yep.
Okay. I'll show it to you first then. Or actually, I'll just make it public.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Public, I'm not gonna
There
hold
we
the
go.
info from him. Again, 3-1 charge of day. Tune to it. Nice. Very nice.
That's pretty solid.
Something to keep in mind about 5th edition, because this is something a little different than Pathfinder. Some magic items require attunement. I believe this is the first one that you guys have found that did. And you can only have, I believe it's 3 items attuned at a time, unless you're a higher level artificer, in which case you could have 5.
And then I think there's a feat that lets you get like extra 1 or something.
Yeah. So currently, this is the first thing you guys have had to be attuned to, but and also because I just didn't want to spend 12 out like 2 pages writing out every extraneous detail. To be clear, it takes the person attuned to it holding it to fill it with alcohol, but then anyone can drink from it to gain the benefit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, with hilarious side effects if you're not a dwarf, but
Right.
That's a good tool to have in your pack.
Mhm.
And a wonderful parlor trick. Shall we ever make our way to a tavern?
and with that, the warm forge scented air fades away and the rhythmic hammering dies down, and you're just returned to the world as it was.
Oh, I think my watch is over.
Fergus is already asleep again.
What's dwarven for Jesus has the wheel? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
given this
I
religion,
just realized I was down to 0 hit die for a short rest.
Mm-hmm. And it does, and whoever wants to, you can use the last of this long rest to attune to that item, because it takes a short or long rest to attune to something.
How does a long rest heal us again?
Just back up
everything
the full.
And then if you're missing any hit die from restoring during short rest, it restores half of your maximum.
Okay.
So, like me, I was at the 0, so I get back 2. So,
yeah, if no one else is going to, I guess might as well.
Bear.
Can you
Responsibility to-
unattune?
Yes, you can unattune to something.
Okay, and it doesn't destroy the item.
Nope. It's just you. It's just no one can access its effect. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a permanent bonding thing. It's just long enough to make it so that way it takes some tactical consideration if you find it in mid-dungeon.
Thankfully, because knowing my general gaming styles, I'd hold off until like level 17 before I actually started tuning to shit.
Yeah. No, this can easily transfer ownership later on if you feel like it. By the way, I hope you guys have been minding I've been doing the magic items in handouts method. Just because
good.
a lot of it I'm either having to make up or write up myself. I added a subfolder just because I realized there's going to be so many items, so I broke it down to the acts. So that way I don't just have like this epically long list and be like, find your item in there.
I kind of like it.
Yeah,
It
that's
reminds
what I
us
did
of what
in
we
the,
have, because I keep forgetting we've got that bag of holding.
That's what I did in the short shot when I gave you guys the like special weapons, pretty much magic items for 40k.
Oh yeah. I think that's where I got the idea from.
The combi mechanicus bolter, and the plasma grenades.
Well, any other messages from God tonight?
It tells you to eat your vegetables.
All we have are mushrooms, so we got that on lockdown.
Mushrooms and beans are man vegetables.
What was that?
That was a joke from the old sitcom Home Improvement, where the guy said, "For men, there's only 3 kinds of vegetables: potatoes, beans, mushrooms."
Nice.
I don't even think mushrooms are technically a vegetable.
That's the joke. Neither are potatoes, and neither are beans.
Why
None of them are
aren't
actual
potatoes a vegetable?
They're a root.
A root vegetable.
Yeah, I don't. They're a starch actually. Now that I think about it,
I mean,
either way.
Now we're getting into like specific like technicalities and stuff.
We're breaking down the food pyramid too much.
Tomatoes and cashews are fruits. So go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cashews are fruits? That's crazy.
Yeah, look it up. They come from a fruit.
Huh. That's crazy. I love cashews. I can't afford them.
The fruit that they grow on is actually poisonous.
So the rest of your long rest goes by without a problem, and you're able to recuperate. Fergus, you were able to finish up your transcribing.
Gotcha. So, Smiku still staring off into space?
He actually does approach you guys and release his communication spores to speak to you telepathically. He says, "Apologies for my absence. I was melding with the local life here. These pools are a place of power. When the hag began enacting her ritual, I heard their call across the island. This is why I came."
You're not going to start chanting on us, are you?
I do not believe I am capable.
Is this connected to your people at all, or is this something separate?
In a way. The spores in which I use to communicate with you are more than just simply a tool to convey ideas between the Zan and the non-Zan. They carry a small fragment of my people's consciousness. When we gather in large numbers, we share these spores with each other. We call it melding. It's a way for our people to share ideas, feelings, a sort of communal hypothesis. I have not participated one in some time as I have been traveling with you, and I have recently connected and experienced such a thing with the pools here.
So, wait, are the pools sentient?
Not in a way that you or yours would understand. There is more forms of life than those which talk or consume meat. It exists all around us, and individually it is nothing, but collectively, if you hear it, if you let yourself hear it, it's always there.
Perhaps if you met up with the gnomes, you could arrange some sort of agreement or alliance of some kind, so your people could venture to this island and see this themselves. And I'm sure the gnomes would appreciate the allies. And
Perhaps, yes. When I return to Zan, I should mention it to the alchemist, the leader of my people. He releases more spores again, so that way he can keep up the communication. Still, I must thank you, all of you, for bringing me here. Without your aid, I would have never come to this place. Understood a little bit more about myself and my place in the world.
Well, I think we're all glad to help you, but I gotta say, we keep hearing about your alchemist. Like, I have to know, is he a Zan like you, or is he something else?
He is a Zan, one of the oldest living of my people. Alchemist is just a title that he adopts, a literal one. He is, to my understanding, the greatest practitioner of the alchemical arts within the entirety of the jungle. Many hunting parties have gone out to acquire rare ingredients for his elixirs and tinctures.
do you have anything? Bring a sample of this back with you, or would you prefer just leave it all here?
He holds out a hand and he opens it, and look, you weren't here for the session, but Nolgrim saw it. These like glowing amber spores drift up from his hand, and they surrounded him during the last encounter and like slowed down attacks and blocked attacks from other people. As part of his like a barbarian rage type thing. He says, I already carry some of it with me now.
Well, that's excellent.
If you would not be offended by my company, I would like to follow you further.
Not at all. We'll look around. Are we good to meet back up with the gnomes?
Yeah, let's see if they tried to kill a Skizrael yet, or vice versa.
Try to remember. Are these regular gnomes, or are these
These are deep gnomes.
Deep gnomes. Okay.
Yeah, but supposedly Volstenstad was built by rock gnomes, not deep gnomes. But these are deep gnomes.
Okay.
It's an evolution thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you're all gonna load back into the Underball?
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't take you more than like 20-30 minutes to get back around. It's not a huge deal. Just a nice afternoon of boating.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure yachting. Underground.
Mm-hmm.
In the dark. On the submarine. With dwarves.
Not completely dark. The shifting mist of spores does glow, so.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, it's amazing if you're on LSD.
Or on
Get
shrooms.
off this boat, sploosh. I would never touch that.
Oh no.
I would have a wicked nightmare and stab myself in the eyes.
Yeah, some people who get high on LSD never come back down because the things that are locked away in their head are a little too much for them to handle.
Have y'all ever seen the movie The Guys Who Stare at Goats?
Yes.
I've seen a trailer for it. I never got to watch it.
If
I
you get a
remember it being
chance,
pretty good, but
It's a
it's
fun
kind of
one.
funny.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys come back to Boston's dad. And as you're pulling in, Lord Junius is coming around to wait at the other end of the dock for you guys as you're coming back.
If they didn't like us going out, they'll love us coming in.
As you guys approach, he goes, "Well, you ran off in the hurry before pursuing the hag. How did it go?"
I mean, we're alive, so good news.
And she's not.
So the danger has been averted. We're free to start fanning out and exploring the island more.
Seems so. There are some wild animal dangers, but otherwise it seems safe enough.
Hmm.
Speaking of, I come bearing gifts, and I grab the book, and I don't toss it, but I kind of hand it to him.
Mm.
Think you'll find this useful?
He's confused at first, and he starts flipping through it and reading it, and then he starts flipping through it faster and reading it, and his face goes to surprise and then to very much excitement. He goes, "Oh, this is. Do you know what this is? This is everything. This is one of the. Ooh, thank you." And he like vigorously shakes your hand. "Oh, I have to discuss this with some of the other members of my expedition."
Before you do, can I speak to you privately? And I'm going to try to usher him a little bit away.
Oh, I suppose so. Sure.
So I basically just pull him aside, and I actually do tell him that I transcribed the schematics for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically tell him, look, we don't plan on using it if we can recover our home and everything. We plan on trading with the gnomes for all these supplies. But one thing I have learned in my explorations down here is that you should never put all your eggs in one basket and have only a select people know something. So I do plan on holding on to the schematics in case the other ones go missing to return to your people, and I hope that we can trade in the future. But I wanted to let you know that there's not going to be any backwards like crafting of these things against the will of the gnomes.
Roll me a persuasion.
No natural one, please.
Nice roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I assure you, it's in my own personal journal, and I don't even let my family see that.
He thinks on it for a moment and goes, "I would be lying to say I was not entirely comfortable with that. It's an important bit of lore pertaining to my people and my ancestry, but
look how it got lost before. We don't want that to happen again.
This is true. You and yours have done a great deal for me, and you didn't have to give me the original journal."
And again, I couldn't just not have told you this. I wanted to be upfront with your people and let you know that if for some reason it gets lost again, that you have another source to retrieve it.
Right. Very well.
If we can ever get to a point where the place down here is safer, I will gladly tear the paper out and give it back to you and not have it transcribed anywhere else. But for the meantime, I like the idea of not having it in one location.
Very well, Master Fergus. I'll choose to trust you on this one. Put faith in you so far. There's no reason why I have to stop now. Thank you for being honest about it.
And then I would return to the group with him.
Mm-hmm.
Guess we'll see if the while he's doing that, see if the spider's good to go. They slew the hag that took you captive.
He was chilling out in like a abandoned structure. He goes, so then she is dealt with then. No more. Why people have to worry about her?
Aye. Unless she has a sister or something, but I don't think they live together.
His fangy mandibles click for a moment and goes, not that I was able to see or understand from my time there. Thank you. You have done a service to both me and my kind. I hate to ask you another favor after you've already done so much, but I seem to be out a craft to get back to the mainland.
Hey, that's what I've come to talk to you about. On a character, I don't recall if we even brought up the drow to him, other than...
I don't think so.
I think we asked him if he knew about his people working with the drow.
Mm.
And that's about as much as we asked, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, planning to go beyond the walls of the drow fortress. Here there are walls, and... well, I doubt you're any good for a direct assault. Perhaps we could work out a deal with your people.
I would not know anything about that. I am but a weaver. But if you would wish, and I can take you to our enclave, and you can discuss it with the White Widow herself.
Aye. Well, there's doubtless room on the boat for you to come with us. Seeing as we rescued you, I don't see why we can't help you get back to your people.
I would be grateful. If you wish, I could make introductions to get you past the guards.
That would be good. Still a few hours till we embark. I doubt there's much here that you wish to take with you, but see to it that you have it with you.
I have all I need. Let me know. And once again, I praise the strands of the forever web that brought you to where I was held.
Hey. Gods watch over all their children.
He does a weird spider nod again.
I'll turn to leave. So seems like a natural conclusion point for that conversation.
Yep.
Still uncomfortable with spiders, but hey. If it helps us kill the drow, it's all the more ironic.
When I come back to the group, I'm like, so Thrum, do you think the scorpions are dead yet? I don't think the gnomes probably fed them yet.
We little porkers, they can last a little while without it.
Okay, but you're opening the door to let them out.
Do you go check on the scorpions, Thrum?
Yes.
There's one.
When you get to
Shield up in front of me.
The door, because you left them in the prow room of the Himmerswald, Himmersblad. Sorry, whatever the name of that ship is. Pete's sakes. Yeah, the Himmelswald. You see the sealed metal door, and there's a very beat up looking deep gnome with just like his back pressed against it. He was there.
Trouble there?
They're very big, and they're very hungry.
Thrum would grab some meat and come back and hold the meat up and crack the door slowly so that they can grab the meat.
Give me an animal handling check.
Oh God.
Because there's 2 left, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Just checking. Yeah, they take the meat from you, but overall it seems pretty fine.
Good.
They're not openly attacking you.
What did we do with Eski?
Eski's just up on the deck.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, Eski's totally fine.
They have a lot less reservations in feeding that one.
Hope you've been keeping track of your food stores, by the way.
No, I have not. Let me pull it up.
Because it's been 3 days. Yeah, sorry.
3 days. Yeah. Was it even a day last session?
Technically, you guys finished a long rest, went back into the observatory, then went and fought the hag, and then you guys just took another long rest. So that's 1 full day.
So we've been on the island for what, 2 days?
All right, so I'm going to call it 4 days since I did any food stuff.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep. So, what do you guys want to do from here?
Can we go back to the bigger map?
Oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Did we map out everything around the lake? Okay, yeah. Y'all did.
I think with the exception down here.
You guys went on a coastal journey.
Yeah, when you went pleasure boating, did you see anything that looked promising?
Only the underblood.
And I believe there were we need to return this Gizrael to his people. That's the goal we have, as well as. Does Miku want to accompany us there, or is he going back to his people?
You haven't discussed it. He's gonna accompany you for now, but you haven't discussed anything else with him.
Yeah. So I would bring that up to Miku as we're all discussing and stuff. If he wishes to accompany us to the home of the Skizrael, or should we return him to his people first?
He releases spores and says, I will accompany you to the lair of the Skizrael, but I will not enter it with you.
Larathak, I think his name was, right?
Yeah.
Is Skizrael?
Yep.
Can you assure safe passage for our friends as well as us, so nothing happens to Miku here, or Ivy, or any of those dwarves?
Yes, and the Zan might be a little difficult, but the rest of you, it will be no problem.
Hi there, Miku. Is there a reason why you wouldn't enter?
The Zan and the Skizrael do not mix.
Alternatively, if you wish to stay.
Many cycles we have clashed in hunting grounds.
It's kind of like old dwarves and elves, eh there, Fergus?
I mean, sure. I think the elves are kind of doing better than us in terms of lately, but...
If you want, Miku, you could remain here with the deep gnomes and establish a rapport with them, and with the intent on coming back in time, and we could return once we get down at the Skizrael to take you back to your village.
I would prefer to return to the main jungle. If you wish me to depart your company at that time, I do not impose.
I just didn't want to put you in an awkward position as we go into Skizrael territory. I want to give you an option of an alternative. But sounds like we're all Aboard to heading to the mainland.
All right. So everyone's. Yeah, go ahead.
Thematically, are we leaving the big boat here with the gnomes so that they could get home?
I believe they're probably gonna have to come with us and then drop us off because we have a wagon and a cow on top of it.
And
Yeah.
And then we'll keep the portable
That's
foldable
right.
boat.
We towed the big boat.
mhm.
Okay.
We'll keep the foldable boat, but I imagine they're going to be keeping the underblad.
Yeah. I mean, we can't take it with us.
Not to mention transporting a giant spider and 2 fastly growing giant scorpions, which are probably Great Dane sized by now. Would be a little bit tricky in a submarine. It would be terrifying. Just the entire back half of the submarine is just one big spider. So is that what you guys are going to end up doing?
Seems to be.
Yep.
Do you? Oh, did anyone say something? Were you going to finish out the day on this island and then set off first thing the next day, or are you going to try to rush it to get to the land?
I'm in no particular rush. We could wait a little while longer.
We could probably wait another day, get all of our funds in order.
Well, if there's time, Nolgrim would put the day towards practicing gem cutting.
Also, you have that geological journal you found in the observatory as well.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'd ask the gnomes what kind of food sources they have.
They have some of their own stored provisions, pretty close to what you have. But they also, because they did hear there's a lake, they brought along some fishing supplies, so they're going to see if they can't supplement their expedition by fishing here.
Let's see if they had any vegetable or mushroom type matter that we could trade for Esky.
Roll me a persuasion. This is going to be one of those things where the result will modify reality to see how well it works out.
All right, this is going to be good. Told you.
Yeah, they've got some edible mushrooms they gathered up from the jungle, much like you did. They could maybe part with, say, 5 pounds of it if you got something similar to trade.
Yeah, he'd trade them 5 pounds of boar meat.
Yeah, they're cool with that.
Cool.
All right, so Thrum's wheeling dealing, Nolgrim's studying / practicing, Fergis, Freya, and Taskill. What you doing, if anything?
In the time that we have before the next day, I would do my best to take some parchment and drop what the closest thing to be a not letter recommendation, basically a letter stating that the gnomes here are staunch allies in case any of us do bite it, and they in the future they don't have a connection to the crown of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if it's way down the line, basically saying that they are friends and allies and to treat them as such.
Yeah.
And make sure to give it to the head guy.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make it in a way that even if it's if they have to go to the surface for whatever reason, that they might be able to give it to dwarves that are connected to us in one way or another.
It's good thinking.
Yeah. You have
calligraphy supplies.
Yeah, give me a roll on that just to see how well it comes together.
Would it be charisma or intelligence for this?
I would let you pick.
It's the same for me either way. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of those things where it's like you can kind of tell it's your first attempt at like an official kingly document, but it's not like an IOU written in crayon. So it's nice. It's nice now.
I owe you one secrets of your people.
We will happily return if you get me elected. Yep.
And then I would give it to him, let him know what it is, and all that.
Yeah, he's all for that. He's appreciative. Taskill, Freya, you two doing anything?
Nothing particular. If they have anything they need crafted or fixed, we use up that daily prayer thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Freya's tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're tuning up the old Gloomstalker crossbow, so it's your new weapon. Probably inscribing some Dwarven runes of power on it, as well as some actual, like, just good old fashioned tinkering with the mechanical bits to make it a little bit better functionality.
Well, you see, the gnomes are good, but I'm better. Precision screwdriver.
And everyone likes to customize their. Haven't you ever seen an action movie? All the people customize their weapons with their own little things that they prefer.
And then you have the random action hero who just grabs whatever's lying down on the ground.
Yep. You're just John Wick and do both.
Yeah, it seems like it's a little bit more stable now.
Mm-hmm.
As you guys are cutting in and out.
Oh, I see. Did you miss anything?
No, we were just going over what everyone is doing, right?
Oh, okay. All right. So another day, which according to my count will be day 115 of the expedition, since you entered the Underdark.
Did Nolgrim find anything from the Gnomish journal?
Yes. You found a couple things reading through. A lot of it is it's a geologist note. There's some interesting stuff about the formation of the fungal jungle.
Mm-hmm.
For example, what you perceived as rain is not actually weather patterns inside it. What it is it's actually rainwater from above the mountain range seeping down through cracks and soil and then falling into the cavern like rain. So lots of things like that. Something that does majorly pique your interest, and it's almost frustrating how little information there is on it. It's like a footnote because this gnome is just obsessed with talking about rocks. But it was talking about how he was discussing with some other gnome explorers that went deeper into the earth to a region called the World's Wound. And they fleetingly mentioned seeing a abandoned dwarven mine.
In the World Wound?
Yeah, World's Wound. According to the notes, it's below the Great Jumping Off Point.
Oh, okay.
And you know for a fact, since you're a buff about dwarven history, that there's no other dwarf holds as close to your geographical location as Dammerhall.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is an actual dwarven mine, then that was one that belonged to Dammerhall dwarves.
All right. Well, Nolgrim will make sure to share that information with the rest of the group.
Then it's clear we've got to get to that jumping off point.
Would we like a history or anything to know more about the World Wound?
World's Wound? You can give me a history, but it'll be quite difficult because it's a somewhat obscure and local thing.
Yep, probably not.
Yeah. 13's get you now. Even less for Thrum.
I think it goes down.
I'm skilled in history. Could I make the roll or not?
Sure. I mean, if you think your character would know about Underdark terrain.
I was thinking more the angle from Dammerhall.
I'm just going to give myself disadvantage on it.
Okay, that's fair.
Still better than us.
No, still nothing though.
20 if I hadn't given it to myself, but it's a roleplay decision.
Nolgrim would give the journal to the gnomes and probably actually go as far as ask them if they know anything about a place called the World's Wound.
Moment.
Right, I'm back.
Hey. Not Lord Junius, but another one of the gnomes, an older fella, scratches his chin and thinks about it for a moment. Those worlds. Oh, yeah. I've heard stories. Never been myself. Large, guess you call a ravine, crevasse, like a narrower cavern, smaller than this, but still large. Real, lots of seismic activity, I'm told. Down deeper into the earth. There was something else about it, but I don't quite remember. It probably wasn't important.
If it just ever happens to come across your mind, please write it down. I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So I want to remove that journal from my inventory.
All right. So y'all boating up to go back across the channel?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, Taskill, could you heal my
Oh yeah, the disease.
disease?
Oh, do I even have?
Yeah, lesser restoration.
Yeah, you're a cleric. You have access to all of them. You just switch them around at will.
Yeah, Lesser Restro is level 2 spell, I guess.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
So the day we came back up, he would have asked you when we were sleeping in the Underbald if you could take care of him the next day.
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, we can retcon that because otherwise I forgot that was going to be a thing. Otherwise, it's going to have you start doing more Constitution saves to see if the disease progresses.
I really don't want poop leg.
Yep, so, second level cleric it says in the thing, so I'll go ahead and put that on my list.
Yeah, you've got a few other stuff. You got like augury and stuff I've seen as well. A second level cleric.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back in time, Taskill casts that on you, and like basically, the flesh around your like infected moldy wound sizzles and steam rises from it, kind of like if you put hot metal into the quenching trough of a blacksmith's, and the infection is gone.
Thank you kindly.
Mm-hmm. Can't have your arm falling off. It's your best attribute.
He stares at his leg.
Leg arm. Would be.
What is legs but bottom arms?
Almost as good as your eyesight there.
Oops, I didn't mean to. I was just testing something out.
Shit, Fergis just attacked us.
No, that was an accident. My bad. I was trying to do it. Just a whisper to self kind of roll, but I messed up on that.
All right, so you get some of the gnomes to tow you and your boat and everything back across over to here. The fact of the matter of just loading up and then unloading the boat probably takes all of day 115. Just because you don't have a nice dock this time either, so it's a little bit more of a to-do.
Yep.
But eventually you're back in the jungle proper. The gnomes head back into the violet mist, back to the island of Five Horns, leaving you +1 spider friend. And some giant scorpions that will not fit in a box anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fashion up something to use almost as like leashes.
Mhm.
And ask Taskill to walk with Esky, and he's going to walk a little in front with the scorpions.
And
Give me another handle animal check.
And this is where we kill another one.
Thrum, not Taskill. Nope. He's got them well in hand. That's a 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nope. You're handling them. They're violent, spiteful little suckers, but they're not attacking you. They're slowly growing a little bit more obedient. You still don't think they'd give a shit if you lived or died, but insects. All right. So, new day. Hope you all keep track of food here.
Sorry, I had a phone call right when you called for me.
No worries.
Would it be conceivable to tie them onto the back of the cart instead, so that they follow the cart and I don't have to handle them all the time?
I mean,
Although I guess having them on a leash would get them it'd be kind of like training them to get used to the harness.
yeah, it would. And also, if they were behind the cart, then there'd nothing stop them from just scampering up faster and hopping onto the cart.
Oh God. And,
They're faster than a cow slowly pulling a wagon.
yeah, and eating what's their gnome's name? Okay.
All right, so day 116.
yep.
Day.
Guess we're putting, the spider back to his lair since
Yeah.
he knows where it is, I would hope.
He says it's up this direction if you see my heir.
Mm.
Deeper up into the jungle. Sure. Yep. So are you guys going to go at slow pace, normal pace, or fast pace?
What's the penalty for going at fast pace?
You have disadvantage on perception checks to notice incoming danger, and if you sustain it for several days, you'll start having fatigue piling on.
How's our food stores too? Because we need to start.
Our food's good. We could go at normal for 22 days before we run out of food for Esky.
I vote normal pace then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Esky might soon be food for the scorpions.
Or the spiders.
By the way, I asked before, but I never got an answer. How does Ivy feel when we're making all these jokes about Esky being food for the scorpions?
I don't think she's caught on yet, because you guys said you were doing it kind of privately.
Yeah. I was just curious. Oh, the lessons she will learn about dwarven cultures, apparently.
I mean, they can't have the whole cow. I'm going to definitely smoke some brisket.
Fergis, we're pioneers. Okay? We don't want to end up like the Donner Party.
I forgot who said it. I heard someone in the news talk about how resourceful the Donner Party was. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
I mean, from a very literal standpoint, they're not wrong.
But it's like, what about cannibalism, but a good thing?
They did use every resource available.
I know, but it's just like...
I mean, if you're out there and you're starving...
Coke starts to look a little bit tastier.
All right. You march forward at a normal pace for day 116. So the next day, just going to continue straight north, I imagine.
Probably just following the lead of the guy who's leading us.
Yep.
Keeping an active eye out in case something goes wrong, but...
Right.
Thrum's looking for ambushes, checking up in the mushrooms like he saw the other Skizrael.
Okay. You're advancing. Okay. Another day, another no incident. So 118. Keep it north moving. Just let me know if there's anything you guys want to do or if you want to alter pace or do anything.
No.
Okay.
Like I said, we've got a while before we have to start worrying about building up stores for Eski again.
Mm-hmm. It's an exploration campaign, but I don't want to make it feel like we spend 20 minutes per hex. So I don't want to rush you guys either. So it's always that balance.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Day 119. Hope you're keeping track of the days here, Go.
Yep. Well, not the days, but just the rations.
We get that. How many your rations?
Yeah.
I've got total days. I'm keeping track of that. More out of curiosity than anything else. This will be your 17th week.
Yeah, if we wander in the fungal jungle for a year, we might just build a new camp.
All right. New Dwarven Kingdom. Time to start breeding.
Heir will accept Freya.
Oh.
A couple of you don't share a gene.
Yeah, we did this the wrong way. We should have multiple females and very few males.
Like
yeah, but it wouldn't be a dwarf party that way.
Like the oh man, how familiar are you guys with little Celtic mythology?
Vague, but
because there's this one story about one of the original peoples to settle in Ireland. Basically, it's like two ships, and one of them gets destroyed by a storm. And long story short, it's one guy and like 2,000 women. so he jumps into the ocean and turns into a salmon.
Yeah, sounds about right.
The salmon powers were never pre-established. It's just something that he does. And they're like, all right then.
He wasn't like George the Salmon Man. He was just George.
Yeah, he was just George.
He just had to get the fuck off the island. He found a way to adapt.
But it's hilarious because apparently in the original mythology, it was boiled down to one guy realizing he's the one guy, and a lot of ladies who just goes, "Oh no," and he bails.
Fuck you, bishops. I'm fishes.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's really good.
Gold.
I want that on a bumper sticker. All right. On this day, coming kind of off the direction of the lake behind you, there is another one of those large clouds of violent mist of spores. Remember the ones that like hurt you and did
Get
stuff
away.
before?
Get away. Didn't we have something to counteract those now?
I hope you guys appreciate what I'm about to put in chat.
Oh, we have one mushroom that can like kill Eski, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then you ate it. Yeah. Oh man, freaking Animorphs.
Right?
I never actually read those books, but I just know of them. Because you don't forget those covers.
I
No.
like that it's called The Escape as well.
The franchise that launched 1,000 furries. That and Sonic the Hedgehog and Thundercat.
Basically, half of 90s TV shows and Disney movies.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, perp fog.
Yep.
Down a
It's,
run.
it's closing in behind you.
Let's double time it, gents.
Running.
All right.
Running.
Athletic checks all around.
This is the song I sing when I run.
And whoever's driving the cart, give me a animal handling for Esky. So it looks like we got some stragglers.
Asked if he would do it.
Yeah.
So rather than that 8 Taskill, you can use your animal handling since you're riding the cart.
He crashed.
Then it got worse.
So, Taskill, you take the reins and you go, yeah, and it rolls forward a foot and then just get immediately a wheel stuck in a ditch.
So that would probably be Fergis and Nolgrim.
Because it turns out the ditch is me.
Try it out.
Freya limbered up though. Naturally, of course, Miku was entirely unconcerned.
He's just waiting to see the trip we decide to go on.
Yeah, I like that. So Nolgrim and Fergus are trying to help get the cart out.
Mhm.
Freya's up there with Thrum. Thrum is being pulled by scorpions that he accidentally said mush to.
Reminds me, I should roll for your friend here. He does not have athletics, so I'm just gonna roll strength. No, he's not getting away fast enough either. He's a very out of shape spider.
He has
Probably
a
something about missing legs.
So yeah, everyone except for, I guess, Freya, is overtaken by the violent mist.
Oh, is Thrum in it too?
And Thrum got.
Oh yeah, you're right. Thrum got away as well. I was so caught up in all the natural ones. Overtaken by the mist. Nothing happens.
Probably check on Esky while we're going, make sure it's not another one of those that hurt only her.
Give me a heal check.
Medicine?
Medicine, sorry. Different gains, same skill.
No, nothing.
Seems fine.
Keel's over dead 3 seconds later.
All right, well, let's get the wheel out the ditch.
I'll say without rolling, it takes you maybe, I don't know. Let me roll. Oh wow, yeah. Miku helps you out, and he's pretty strong, so you're able to lift the wheel out of the ditch in one round and get it moving again. But by that point, the cloud's fully on top of you. So far everything's fine.
Yeah, well, let's try this again.
Try to get ahead of it.
Mhm.
Another round of athletics.
Yep.
Yeah. To the opposite end of the spectrum.
Everyone's just gone.
Right. Ah, there's the NOS button.
You suddenly hear the words "deja vu" echo through the cavern as frickin' Taskill's power slides the card. But no, you managed to the cloud slows down, so you managed to break out of it. Latharakak, whatever his name is, the spider is with you. He says in his scratchy undercommon, maybe it was one of the harmless ones?
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Thrum's gonna come over to Esky and check her out, see how she's looking.
Alright. Give me a medicine.
Hi there, Taskill. Does she look alright to you?
I guess so.
Yeah, she's actually fine. Maybe Got the sneezes, but other than that,
All right. Gonna monitor her as we keep going. Make sure she doesn't start turning gray or whatever. What happened last time? She got real
she
pale.
got real weak because she was dying of poison.
All right, go ahead and fish out that mushroom that we know is like an anecdote for her, just in case.
Did you have more than one of those?
I have no idea.
Because I remember, Richard, did you know? Because I remember you gave one to Thrum last session.
Let me double check my inventory because I think that was the only one we had.
Mm-hmm.
Did we use it?
Yeah,
we
you
did.
ate it.
I have an unidentified potion and a water breathing potion and a poisonous potion of some kind, but that's all I got.
Okay. Then we used it up.
All right. Well, for the rest of that day, doesn't seem to be a problem. So, day 120. Feel area. You gain sight of the cavern wall.
Yes, our old friend.
Yes. And the your Skizrael friend there says, if we just keep following the wall this direction, we should come across the temple.
Fair enough.
Maybe another day. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do? Move on to the next day.
The next day.
Okay. All right. Mid afternoon in the next day, as you guys are coming along, you're following the cavern wall. You see an area where it dips in somewhat, and there is just an absolute curtain of spider webs, thick and interwoven. Doesn't take a genius to figure out that lots of large spiders live here, and though you probably can't see them, it's easy to imagine there is sentries hidden amongst them, even if it just looks like a ordinary cave. Latharak says, I should go ahead first and speak to them before you approach. I will return and then guide you through. Otherwise, your wagon won't be able to get through the maze web.
Sounds like an idea.
Once he gets out of earshot, Thrum's gonna whisper to the others, "Be on your lookout. We can't really trust them. Not yet."
I've been on my guard this entire time, but I'm still under an ample amount of trust.
Miku releases some spores and says, I will step back to the jungle and observe from outside. This is as close as I will get. But if there's trouble, I will be here.
It's probably best we leave the wagon and Esky out here.
Mm-hmm.
Aye. Miku, would you mind taking care of Esky? And the scorpions I can tack down over here. See if I could, build a restraining system.
I shall watch over your supplies. And yes, try to restrain the scorpions. If they attack me, I will kill them. That's what happened to the third scorpion,
Yeah,
if you remember.
I remember. I want to try and build a just like hammer something into the ground to stake them off, and maybe multiple stakes, like securing them to each one in a square pattern so that they're stuck in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's easy enough. You've got the supplies. All right. You guys are waiting out here for maybe 10, 15 minutes. Before you start noticing stir of motion within all the webs. And the form of, you're pretty sure it's Lorathak, comes back, crawling along the webs down to you.
Did you just say they all look the same?
Could you tell one tarantula apart from another if I showed you two pictures there, Co?
No.
I could if one was missing a lot of parts.
Yeah, one of them missing some limbs. So.
Yeah, well, as he gets close, you're able to tell it's him. Also, fun fact, you said when he's out of earshot, Cope, earlier. What you mean to say is when he's out of leg shot. Spiders hear with their legs.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. They feel vibration through their leg, through the leg hairs. They are freaking weird.
On this episode of Spider Facts by Gombo.
On this podcast of Spider Facts, I pondered where my life went terribly, terribly wrong. Yeah, he comes back and says, I have spoken, and with the tale of what you've done, the White Widow is interested in meeting you. The monster that you slew upon the island of Five Horns has long hunted my people, and that has earned you an audience. They merely ask that you be respectful and keep your weapons sheathed.
Absolutely.
All right. He leads the way as you guys advance towards this cave opening lined with webs. As you look up and around, you see, now that you're a little bit closer, you can see the shape of multiple giant spider sentries nestled in the webs looking at you as you're going in. Enter the opening, which I will describe to you after a while. At almost exactly 8 o'clock my time for the halfway point, so I think I timed that out pretty well. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll take a quick bio too.
I'll be right back too.
No, I'll go piss in their quarry.
It's quiet without anyone to call.
I'm back.
A lot less combat this time around.
Well, you did just finish up a dungeon, to be fair.
Yeah. It's refreshing to go back and forth.
There's a reason why the old quest to dungeon and outside of dungeon formula is a classic.
What was that?
The like stereotypical D&D, there's a village and then you go into the dungeon and you go progressively deeper in the dungeon, but then you bring your loot back up to the surface, Diablo style.
Gotcha. That's why it's good to have an army of undead to get your loot for you.
No, I want to spend 40 minutes talking about the weight of gold coins and how we're going to transport it out.
That was probably all my fault. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
I love logistics in real life, and so I just get bogged down in it.
No, it's totally fine. It was just hilarious that we were going on that, and somehow the idea of hauling gold coins out of a cathedral sounded more insurmountable than fighting an archangel.
Loot. I mean, is loot the universal item through all of the systems?
Close, but there are a few that don't. Mutants and Masterminds doesn't really do loot. They have items, but they're just like a part of your character creation.
Yeah, that's true, because if you're a superhero, you don't really care about gold.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what that system's functioning on. A lot of systems, I call it the buy-in. It's like you're at the table, you're playing this system, they're just assuming there's going to be some sort of aspect you're in on. No. Dungeons and Dragons, it's you're going to want to have adventure. Because if you play a level 2 rogue that steadfastly refuses to do anything even remotely dangerous and just wants to make a farm, why are you at the table? I'm not saying we can't play Stardew Valley, the tabletop RPG, but that's just not what Dungeons and Dragons is.
Because you're playing farm guy, or what's his name? Farmer in over his head.
Farmer in over his head.
My favorite idea I come up with recently is a drug dealer who's out to save his best client.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he starts adventuring, is because the one he supplies most of his supplies to has gone missing. Naturally, I'd be a druid.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally.
I gotta find a way to renew my nerve supply. Goddamn.
Or psychedelio psychic. There's a type of psychic in Pathfinder that
Oh yeah, I remember that.
gets more powerful if you take some psychedelic drugs.
I do like the idea of him midway through the campaign, like running out of drugs and waking up and going, "Who the hell are all of you people?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my purple dragon sidekick?" Wait, you have the same eyes she had.
I did have an idea for a character before I settled on the Halfling Bard for Richard's campaign. That was literally just someone chose by Caden Callian, the god of drunken adventuring. And he was just going to be smashed almost all the time. But if he ever sobered up, he didn't want to be a champion of that god. And he was just drunkenly dragged along for this.
That's a good one. I could play that character.
Is everyone back?
I'm back.
Yes.
Okay, Michael's. Okay, cool.
Hold on, let me check through the internet. Yep, I see you. I see you. Yeah, everyone's there.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just look through Cope's window. Okay, I waved. He didn't see me.
Yep. We cleaned them today. Oh, I can't see you. It's dark outside.
Yep. No, it's okay. I'm pale enough. I show up.
I thought that was a ghost. No, that was just Gombo.
It's a pitch black room, and I'm just there in perfect lighting. Hi.
I've met him. I can confirm.
How are you glowing? The sun's reflecting off of me.
Off the sun, off the moon, off of me.
He's so pale he reflects in the Underdark.
But yes, no, Richard has seen me in person. He can attest that it's not exaggeration.
I mean, granted, you're about the same as pale as I am, but I think we're both pretty pale. So.
It's only gotten worse since I moved to a place that's predominantly snowy. And by worse, I mean better. When I'm pale, I itch less. Anyway.
What?
What?
Sun allergy.
Well, no. See, what it is when your skin dries out, because my skin isn't naturally very oily, it starts flaking, so you naturally itch. However, when the air is cooler and moister, my skin has more natural hydration, and I just don't exfoliate as much.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just the opposite. I'm a greasy, dark-skinned person.
All right, so you guys make your way through a brief zigzaggy pattern of webs adhered to the floors and the ceilings. While it's all very visible webs, it looks like it's just more of a dense wall to you, and if you weren't following your Skizral friend, it would be very easy to either think it's just a solid wall of webs or walk in and get caught. But eventually you get through this proverbial maze of webs that they seem to be using as their defenses, and you enter a surprisingly narrow cave room, and whatever you expected the Skizral's home to be like, this does not fit the bill. You might have expected it to be something like a dank cave filled with cobwebs and egg sacs or that kind of thing, but instead what you find is a area that's just lined with large white sheets of silken fabric, like tapestries from the walls. They also have the same kind of white fabric along the floors, giving the entire space an almost ethereal quality. You could easily imagine them rustling gently in the wind if there was any breeze. As you look around, there's only a few other Skizral in this current cavern room. I keep saying cavern, but it's just a room with a couple tunnels leading out of it. And you feel like there's very small, but you keep hearing all this clicking and chittering. And eventually, at least one of you is probably going to look up. And arachnophobes be warned. You look straight up, and it's narrow because the space goes up and up into the darkness, and it appears that they built their sort of village vertically as well as horizontally. As built into the walls, there's all manner of webbed cocoon houses and web bridges, along with all the same kind of ethereal white fabric draped from the walls as decorations. And milling about, there is maybe 300 giant spiders. Going about business. Some of them seem to be weaving the very fabrics that you see that are along the walls using their own webbing and techniques that you don't entirely understand just at the glance. What's everyone's reaction shot here.
Nervous.
Nolgrim's probably fascinated by their version of architecture and seeing it both practical and impressive.
Anyone else? Thrum?
Yeah, Freya's probably freaked out a little bit.
Thrum would go back and forth between, that's a beautiful fabric, and then looking up and going, I wonder how many dwarves he killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be a hell of a fight out if things turn bad.
Something interesting you all noted, because I know Fergus's reactions have to wait a second because Richard said BRB, is that you hadn't really noticed till this point because you've never had a side-by-side comparison. But most of these Skizral and Larathak, the one that you rescued, while still large creatures, look physically smaller than like the two that you fought when you first entered the Underdark. And there are some larger Skizral spiders here like that, but they kind of look like they're holding guarding positions.
So are they only
I'm
like
back.
a caste system? Does it only look like they're two types, soldiers and weavers?
You can roll me an insight. Also, if you're back, Richard, you heard my description of what this place is like, right?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm just having some tooth problems.
No problem. What's Fergus's kind of reaction to seeing this place?
A little creeped out, but otherwise kind of keeping cautious.
Mhm.
I just wanted to come back and let you guys know that I'm going to be probably gone for like 10 to 20 minutes, but I'm going to stay and call so the recording keeps going.
Okay.
So just FYI, if I miss anything important, just let me know.
Okay, sorry the tooth pain's getting to you, man. Your best guess with that insight, Thrum, is that it's probably just like the difference between soldiers and farmers.
Yeah.
I mean, in that argument, you could say that humans have a caste system too. But,
But it's known with insects.
Mhm.
So maybe these arachnids act the same way.
You have a moment to look before Larathak says, "Please, this way to the White Widow." You follow to the other side of this room and through a tunnel. And he says to you, "Now, we're going through the egg chamber. It is critically important for your own safety that you keep your hands far away from your weapons. They're very protective in here." And as you enter this, it's a smaller chamber. It doesn't go up quite as high, but it's floor to ceiling, got just like a coating of webbing. And in the center is a massive elephant-sized pile of egg sacs. Gently kind of pulsating and churning. And there is about 4 like larger Skizral that you can see just hanging out in this room watching as you guys walk past. I assume none of you start anything.
No.
No.
Thrum would nod to the soldiers.
Mhm.
Keep walking. This is great music.
Mhm.
I'm getting a little nervous.
Nolgrim's thankful that, as far as he knows, Taskill doesn't have access to the fireball spell.
Surprise!
Screw Dammerhall. It's time to cleanse this.
Right.
You go past the egg chamber and you enter a lower ceilinged but wider room with a flat back, and this is all like natural stone here. And there is a sort of lip at that far back wall that's leveler. And there are more of those silk sheets, like tapestries from the walls. And if you squint, it's hard because it's like white on white, but you can almost see like pictures, like it's a tapestry depicting a history on them. But it's a little tricky, especially with dark vision.
Nolgrim will speak to their escort and say, "Do you think I'll have time on the way back to take a look at the history you have over there? I'm vastly intrigued."
It will depend entirely upon the will of the White Widow. Your friend there stops and goes, "This is as far as I go. You shall be meeting with the White Widow without me to speak for yourself. She has heard of your deeds. Please do be respectful. She is mother to us all."
Character, good thing the face of the party is dealing with tooth pain at the moment.
Gives you all a chance to stand on your feet here.
Yep.
Yeah, we can pretend like he's afraid right now.
The Lakarathak, or whatever his name was, scurries away. And as you guys advance in your room, there's a space in between two tapestries, or coming out of a little crevice in the ceiling is another Skizral that very much lives up to her name, as though she is large like a soldier, her carapace and hair is completely stark bone white. And though it is a little tricky to tell with dark vision, you can just vaguely get the hint, even through your black and white filter, that her eyes are red, like she's albino.
And what did they call her? The White
White Widow.
Okay.
She scuttles down, resting her back, abdomen, thorax on the sort of step, kind of creating like a natural throne in between these tapestries.
Mm-hmm.
As her 8 eyes look at you for a moment and says it's strange that it's a clicky, raspy voice, but still somehow manages to sound soft in Undercommon. Says, "I am the White Widow, leader of the Skizral Enclave, and last priestess of the Forever Web. You are outsiders that have rescued one of our own, and as I understand it, dealt a blow to a threat that has hunted my children for some time. Is this not true?"
Nolgrim would nod and say, it was not our intention originally, but once we saw the creature and the harm it has wrought countless, we couldn't abide it being continued to live in this domain.
And now you are here.
An honor indeed. And Nolgrim would bow and say, "I am a Nolgrim Runic, and these are my companions." And he would introduce everybody in kind and save Fergis for last. And can't remember the honorific he's given the last heir of Dammerhall, I think it is.
Something like that.
So, and he would give the honorific to that one.
Mm-hmm. She clicks her mandibles for a second and says, "You have done a kindness by escorting our lost one back into the fold. But the Forever Web teaches us that all things are connected, that to pull on one strand is to move another. You are here with another reason in mind, standing before me, are you not?"
Trying to remember out of character.
Yeah, out of character. I think Richard had.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, there are 2 questions that I would ask you and hear from you directly. The first I would hear is your God, I had a word for it that was good. Your opinion upon the drow. That
You have done my kind of service, so you deserve honesty. The Skizral, my children, we do not associate with the drow. They keep to their fortresses, their affairs, and we avoid ambushing their patrols when they enter the jungle.
Thrum would snort.
quiet, Thrum. The second is that shortly upon our arrival into the area, we had come upon the remains of an attack upon a group of gnomes. Later, we found the attackers to have been 2 of your people, though perhaps not of your people. They had among their effects drow coinage.
Do you have anything that remains of these 2? And I forgot to mention it in session, but I put it in the chat if I remember correctly. That one of them had a iron, like it was like a ring band it wore on one of its legs.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was like 4 months ago, real time, so I just brought it up.
I actually think we give it. Fergis was wearing it.
I had it, I think.
Yeah, it's big.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not wearing it, but I know I have it. I remember saying I picked it up. Also, I'm back, by the way. I'm not sure what I missed.
They're a meeting with the White Widow.
Yeah, just introductions.
And an albino giant spider.
No worries. Yeah, I just took one of my grandmother's opioids, so hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Good night. Had a friend who took one and drank
It's
a
an
beer.
oxycodone.
They gave me some of that from mine, but honestly, it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to, but I needed to try anything because I am in a bad way right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I imagine Fergus produces the band.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. That was an item that formerly belonged to Azarak, and no doubt he was in the company of his brother, Sethric. They were... Well, does not the surface world have the term bandits?
Indeed.
That's what they were. Wayward children who had lost their way. I apologize for any danger they may have put you in.
Very well, then I shall speak of our purpose here. And then going on to reclaiming Dammerhall for our people and how this will take us from this place, as we know, straight through the Drow Fortress. Sort of
You seek
indication
your
of seeking help.
Oh yeah, seeking help. So you seek help for my children, so you may be on your way to retrieve your lost home.
Aye, though it uncomforts a deep-set part of me, your abilities would aid us greatly in overcoming what we have heard to be a great wall and chasm within a cave deeper between us and where we hear Dammerhall to be. If you, though would not drag you into an open war with the Drow, I would not demand they fight beside us. Merely getting us over the Drow's wall would be enough.
And down the hole that they are guarding.
My children and I have no quarrel with the Drow, though we do not count them amongst our friends, for the services that you have given to us with the slaying of the monster. Lowering you down the great jumping off point would be but a meager boon we would be willing to give to you. However, it is not that simple to give you such a service. As one string pulls upon another, it tripped another, and one might get tangled in the webs. To move to the cave opening leading to the Drow, one would have to go through the territory of the Zan. Though there is no open war between our peoples, there has been conflicts in the past.
Aye, we travel with Zan, and he has told us as much.
Then you understand.
We have also done a kindness to the Zan, though, and I'm sure a mutual truce could be attained for the benefit of mutual friends.
Roll me a persuasion there, Nolgrim. It's not a hard one. Don't worry.
Persuasion. There. Yep, that's what I thought.
In the jungle, one must strive hard to survive. We have no common ground with the Zan. If you believe that such a thing is possible, then you should take it to the door of their city.
We could do that. You had no common ground before, but now let us be your common ground. We could talk to the Zan.
If you believe such a thing is possible, I understand that they are rooted, inflexible. They do not see the architecture of the forever web. But perhaps your luck will be better than ours.
We've got one individual that I think would love to sit and talk about webs and connected funguses and stuff with you for days.
She doesn't respond to that at all. There's no good response to those words.
Well, then we've got a journey ahead of us.
We need to make our way there soon enough anyways, but if we could bring the Zan to the table for a truce, even for the short term of lending us aid, would you be willing to meet at the table in good faith as well?
What is a table?
I assume that there's some things in Undercommon that the idea can be conveyed easily enough. We're not going to have to play that game for all eternity. If a place suitably safe could be found for the negotiations, perhaps.
What is the closest you have to neutral grounds in the region?
Maybe the Gnome City?
We have none ourselves, but it is you who wish to move mountains, so then it is your fate to find the threads to pull.
That is fair.
But please, you have done my children a service. You can stay here until you've rested from your journey as our guests.
I did notice a series of tapestries that seem to go over the history of your people. It would be a rare privilege that I would ask that I could peruse those at my leisure while we are here, so that I could learn more of your people.
Such a thing is possible, if you wish. In the marine times, if you do intend to stay here, we shall arrange accommodations.
I suppose we can stay a night.
No, one of us should probably send word out to our friend out there to let him know that all is well.
I'll go out and stay with Miku. I don't want to just leave one person by themselves anyway, so...
Aye.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't think Thrum would want to leave the scorpions and Esky sitting out there.
Nolgrim would like to stay, though.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Okay. So
me and Thrum are going out.
okay. And Nolgrim's staying. Is anyone else staying here in the temple?
I guess.
But where has what's her name?
Ivy?
Ivy been? Yes.
She's just kind of been standing in your guys' shadow. Immediate interest and excitement has kind of hollowed out into, oh, that's a lot of spiders. So she's probably tailing Thrum and Fergus back outside.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, there is natural interest and curiosity there, but when you look up and you see like 250 bigger than a horse-sized spiders, it's like, you know, a couple were all right.
Nolgrim is very intrigued to see what spider accommodations look like. Or Skizrael accommodations look like.
Imagine Taskill staying because, you know, it's polite.
Also, it's a good test of faith in them.
Mm-hmm. If they kill me, my friends cannot trust them.
Yes. Very much so.
Just as the fangs seek into him, he's like, I knew it.
Hey, better now than, give him the opportunity to just drop Fergus, miles upon miles at Earth's crust.
Yeah, they're lowering you down on a thread, down to the great jumping off point, and then you just hear echoing down the cavern, the Lannisters send their regards. I don't even watch Game of Thrones, and I know that reference.
I was about to ask. I didn't think you'd seen it.
No. But I spend so much time in nerd culture, I just kind of absorb things through osmosis these days.
Mm-hmm.
We're going through it again from the beginning. Just finished season 1. This will be the 6th time we've watched I think the first 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7. I can't remember how many there are. The last season, I was so sad with it. We have not rewatched that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, 2 episodes anyway, so it's not like it's much.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, I suppose I'll spend most of the early evening just kind of meditating and praying for inspiration as to what to do about this all.
Mm-hmm. Your accommodations are set up back in the main first room that you entered. There aren't really any anything ground level. So after one of the guard Skizral, Chit or something, none of you speak Skizral, to some of the smaller ones, they form you like a cocoon hut out of webbing. And then some Skizral come up to you, and in their front little feely legs, they're carrying folded silk sheets to give to you.
Is this stuff sticky?
The silk sheets are not. They are just a very fine silk.
Wow. We're going to have to harness that, and when we take these guys over, get them to spin it so we can sell it.
If you examine the sheets, it's really crazy because they're not like how humans so hemp or anything like that, where it's like in gridded rows. It is kind of like that spiderweb shape meshed on top of each other just a bunch of times. Like, you wouldn't even know where to begin sewing something like that, but it's apparently intuitive for them.
Yeah, I guess I can ritual cast that.
Nolgrim will marvel aloud at the quality of the craftsmanship.
The one of the Skizral that handed to you chitters something in the language that you do not understand, and seems like it waits for a response.
Is our friend nearby?
You do not see Leatherac now.
Nolgrim will try to gesticulate if he could write it on the ground or something, because if it's written, I got it. If it's spoken, not so much.
it chitter clicks something else and then it scampers away back up the wall.
Nolgrim will shrug.
Nothing like being that guy that tries to order noodles in Japan, not speaking the language.
Right?
Oh man.
That's me. You just speak louder and slower.
Yeah.
And with a stranger accent.
Oh, should have tried Undercommon. Oh well.
Well, I assume when you marveled aloud, because you haven't had any experience that they speak Dwarven.
That's
strange.
True. That would have been the default.
Thrum and Fergis, along with Ivy, when you guys are heading for the exit, one of the larger guards, Skizral, scampers up in front of you, and it formulates the words in a slightly rougher Undercommon and goes, I guide you out. And then he turns around and goes into the web maze, and you can follow him out through the web maze to
I thank you, comrade. This, I counted a left, right, as we came in, but then I lost my count after the second right and the third left. But then I think it was right from there.
That actually brings up a good point. Both Fergus and Thrum, roll me a perception as you're navigating through this maze. Okay. Fergus is just kind of along for the roll. Thrum, since you're actually trying to keep track, you're going out a different path than you came in.
I swear we went left there, so that would have been right as we're coming back, but we just went left, so that... I don't know. Hey there, fella, are we going the right way?
Yes. And then right as he says that, you enter out and you're on the outside again.
I knew this was the right way.
And you turn around and he just withdraws back through the webs of the maze, up vertically as well.
Go over to Miku.
Mm-hmm. He's a ways away, watching from a distance.
And I assume he's with Eski and near the scorpions, and check up with him, make sure everything was okay while we were gone.
He releases spores. I've been watching. There's been no movement in or out. Everything is fine. Are the others dead? Alive?
They were treated very well. Very friendly race. Once you give them a chance.
I see. Ivy just jumps up on Eski. I'm staying out here for a while.
It's a little disconcerting because they're different from us, but I think it's the differences that between all the different beings in an ecosystem that make it work.
Yeah. I think it just seems like he thinks about that for a moment. What's Freya doing?
So, at this point, so let's go over this again. What's the plan at this point?
So we're gonna go all the way down to the Zan, talk to them to let the Skizrael through their lands and into the tunnel to go down to the Drow fortress with us, and the Skizrael are going to help us cross the fortress. If the Zan will agree to let the Skizrael through without
the internet is cutting in and out.
Killing them.
Can't really hear.
So basically we're going to part a peace between the Skizrael and the Zan.
At least a temporary truce to help us deal with the Drow issue.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my read. Yeah, Michael's having some internet troubles.
Mm-hmm. So I think we've kind of decided on the north bank of the lake being a good meeting point, since it's about equidistant from the two as lairs.
I was going to say the Gnome Island, but I guess that's easier.
That'd require a boat. We have boats, but it also require the gnomes being willing to participate.
Allow the gnomes to flex abandoned on the deck of the Himmelsfard.
Ooh, that's a good idea. And that way the gnomes could be involved too. We could barter a 3-way piece of the fungal jungle.
All right then. So let's see. Taskill, you're doing augury?
Yeah. See if weal or woe will come of that.
So what specifically are you asking?
Our attempt to broker a deal between the Skizrael and the Zan. Will that go weal or woe?
Give me a second. Oh. I'm just trying to look up something real quick. It'll take too long. As you focus in on it, you feel like a warmth emanate from the stone in front of you, and a small 4-inch patch of rock gets white hot, and then it molds slightly, and then it rapidly cools into a finished stone that's square and seems to be much denser and harder than it was before. That is a wheel. I'm trying to do that thing I picked up from the Theros book, where you actually do a thematic description of the omen from your god for wheel or woe, but then they specifically say, but still just tell your player what that means.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick and try to sort it out for them.
Right.
Yeah, assuming they know.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Then I don't know how long ritual casting takes, but
10 minutes.
Yeah, and probably a second one about the plan to bypass the Drow fortress. They said I think they were specifically said carry us over or down the great jumping off point.
Oh yeah, they said they could lower you down the great jumping off point, but I remember in the past that you guys were talking about if there was an alternate way around.
Yeah.
The little rock in front of you that was square heats up again, and it turns back into liquid stone, but then separates and becomes about 16 smaller stones. So it's like a both situation. It's good and bad.
Very well, I'm out of questions unless anyone else has anything that they can think of that, theoretically in character I'd have thought of.
Not that I could think of.
Okay. Nolgrim, you're looking at the tapestries.
Yep, I'm wanting to just get a idea of their history.
Give me an insight. Or on investigation, sorry, wrong one. Investigation's probably better for you.
Yeah.
The trickiest part about examining these tapestries is just the fact that it's like white on white, but the texture is what the picture is there for. It takes you a little bit, but examining the first tapestry, you see what looks like depictions of giant spiders around large, high canopy trees. Moving about and connecting with webs. Then below that, you see a sort of the next tapestry after that one. It's it kind of reminds you of like pagan standing stones, like in Europe.
Yeah.
If you've seen them. That has the giant spiders in it, and they're gathered around. It looks just like any other. It's a pictogram of a spider web, but judging by its placement in the tapestry, it has some sort of importance, and lots of spiders seem to be gathered around it, as it's like the focal point of this tapestry. And then the next one clearly depicts humanoids with bows firing arrows at giant spiders. As the spiders in this pictogram are kind of fleeing towards mountains. And then after that, you see this last tapestry, this fourth and final one, is a lot more dense. And it shows lots of giant spiders kind of going between cracks, between stones from on top of a mountain until they get to a large open space that is lined with mushrooms at the bottom.
I imagine the tapestry is much too vague to give an idea of where that path from above down to the fungal jungle is.
It looks pretty representational.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because I'm wondering if that means, especially since water is pooling from above, as I learned from the not geography, geology.
Remember one stalagmite looked like it was connected all the way up to the ceiling.
You suddenly hear the voice of the White Widow right behind you, kind of making you jump. And I rolled. She got a natural 20 on her stealth.
That sound was a little pee going down your leg.
Right?
Yeah. Just like literally half a foot right behind you. Huge spider. Anything of interest?
Yeah, actually, I'm very intrigued by this bit here and pointing to the descent down into, this cavern. You would, I was curious, is it, it's, obviously I cannot see what the ceiling holds, but I have read some books upon, where the water comes from and that apparently it drains through the rocky canopy. I can't help but am curious if there is a direct path from here to the surface.
My forebears told me.
I was saying you're really quiet all of a sudden.
Sorry, I whispered that.
Okay.
My forebears told me many hatchings ago that the Skizrau came here to this jungle through hidden cracks and channels in the ceiling of the cavern, traveling down the throats of the mountain to their peaks. Did not always dwell below the earth.
Nolgrim would nod and say, "What is the terrain on the roof, or the roof like?"
Atop in this cavern, I believe you will find that the ceiling is quite inhospitable to one of your physiology. Skizrau, we can cling to the ceiling. You cannot.
Give me a sec. Got a character. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else.
I can give you a recap on the tapestries if you need anything too.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just give me a quick bullet points.
First one was a bunch of spiders dwelling in a
Mm.
forest. The next one was them gathered around some kind of like old school temple that was centered around some sort of web.
Mhm.
Next one, they were being driven off by humanoids with bows. Last one was them descending into what you've correctly guessed as the Fungal Jungle.
Nolgrim would then ask about the temple. That seems to be a place of significance.
That was the former home of my people. Back when we were under the sun, it was the temple that we built around the strands of the Forever Web. The eyes regard you.
Mm.
I have spoken of the Forever Web several times, but you do not know what that is, do you?
Definitely not in the depths that I'm sure you do, but I infer that it has to do with a sort of interconnectivity with all things on a spiritual level, if not a metaphysical or physical one.
This is true, though it is more literal than you might think.
I'm interested.
Oh, sorry, I was formulating my thought there.
Okay.
The lost child that you rescued from the island, he spoke about how your cleric is a patron of the gods. Though we, the Skizrau, worship the Forever Web, it is not a true deity. It is a construct, a network of strands of a web that permeate all factors of reality, through all planes and through all afterlives. The Forever Web is woven and is constantly expanding, connecting all things. And in a few rare places, such as our lost temple, it crosses physically into our world. And with the bare eyes, you can gaze upon the Forever Web, the eternity of all of its knowledge and all things it touches, visible for the eyes.
Now, is this something that is... I'm trying to think of the words. I know there are some faiths that say fate is predetermined, while others say that it is flexible and malleable depending upon free will. Is this Forever Web one of those two, or is it something else entirely?
Such answers are difficult to come up with precisely. Our people have lost the ability to gaze into the web when we are driven from our temple. But it is a literal force in the world. Now, whether or not the web is woven around your souls? That we do not know.
Can I do a knowledge history check to see if I could discern a sort of temple that may have... No, because again, it's on the surface, and depends on how long ago, but I wouldn't be too surprised if there's some, at least, even long-lost lore of a spider temple on the surface.
Yeah, give me a knowledge history.
Nope.
Nope.
Man, I am rolling crap today. I am a student of history, though admittedly it's largely focused around my culture and my peoples. But that does not mean I do not appreciate the history of other cultures, and I try to be eclectic as much as I can, especially as I am venturing out into these new realms that are very unfamiliar to me. So I certainly appreciate you not only allowing me to review your history, but taking the time to speak to me about directly.
Of course. You have done my children a service. It is but a small boon to share. We all follow the threads of the forever web.
And I think we told you, at least in brief, of the reason why we are venturing down here. But I wouldn't be surprised if the day would come sometime in the future where me and mine may return, and if such a time does occur, I do hope to meet with you and your kind again. I shall have many more questions and have more to share with you.
When that time comes, we shall see.
I can't think of anything else to bring up.
If you go to take your leave, she remains in the chamber a moment before calling after you and saying, Dwarf Nolgrim, do be warned, however, if you ever in your journeys you do happen upon a physical strand of the forever web, do not harm it. He who weaves it may take offense. And then she scurries back up the ceiling and into her hole.
Nolgrim pondered that for a long moment before nodding and turning to, gain settled into his cocoon for the evening.
Yeah, you go back to the little cocoon hut where there's a Taskill and I assume Freya, and you just got some really nice silk sheets.
Yeah.
I even made like a not sticky puffy web pillow for you.
Imagine it's probably a pretty high quality sheet by all standards.
Yeah, it's like Egyptian silk.
Ooh.
Hey, did you learn anything?
And he would kind of go over the history and all the stuff, and I think Nolgrim will go in great detail. He enjoys talking history and isn't above boring them, but at the end of it, he would make a point of, reiterating the warning that the White Widow shared with him.
Can't say I've heard of any of that, but how would we even tell if it was of this forever web?
Best thing I could imagine is that some sort of thread that just goes from one point to another, I guess. I suspect it's one of those things where we won't know it until we see it, because we have no idea what basis it may actually appear as. Needless to say, if there's random threads going around, I would be cautious of cutting it. Especially if one looks more important than the others.
Well, Father Mountain shines upon our prospects at making peace between these two.
That is good. No doubt that the Drow are a potent force here in the Underdark, and even if it's no formal military alliance against them, I feel having a unified force in general would make them a bit more wary to pull any more actions as if they have done with the gnome village from back when.
Mhm. Well, I've got an idea. Shall have to run it by the Skizral in the morning.
Oh, what would that be?
Recall them saying they didn't have a specific meeting place of neutral territory.
Hmm.
Oh, no time like the present to create one. The lake would be between the two. Of about... Well, let me see a map. And
Yeah, Nolgrim produce it. And I imagine he'd be refining it as they traveled, because
Yeah.
yeah.
You got your mitts on that no map that depicted the lakeshore edges, so that's helped a lot.
Mm.
Yes. Perhaps the northern point of the lake. Set up a designated meeting area between the two. We could probably even get the gnomes involved if we want to have the boat off the coast, though.
I mean, I imagine any sort of leadership would be wary of ambush in the mushrooms, but to have it as dignitaries aboard a floating vessel is probably one that would put most people at ease, or at least a little more so, potentially.
We shall see.
Nothing else will be something to talk to the archaeologists about, and may not hurt to let their presence be known, and because they are a little out of their element here, I suspect.
Regardless, just looking at the map, I feel like this is gonna cost us another month. But the more we can bring to bear against the drow, the better. I doubt they'll be able to get us past them undetected, and even if that is their goal.
Yes. And though I also must admit that I am wary to have a drow fortress at our back, fully manned by the drow one, if it is possible to break it.
Aye. It'll be a daunting task, no doubt. Yeah, that's... I mean, there's probably small talk, but nothing worth role-playing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if you guys settle in for a rest. So those of you who are inside the Skizral cavern, the kind of like clicking, chittering of the Skizral moving around and doing stuff by the hundreds over your head, it just never stops. They if one shift ends, another one starts. So up to you how that affects your sleep.
I think Nolgrim's feeling pretty comfortable having gotten to know the culture on a bit more of a personal level, that beyond the appearances, they seem more or less like any other culture. So I think he'd be alright.
Mm-hmm. And Taskill?
Yeah, well, eventually I'd imagine he starts thinking back to the sounds of the forges. Trying to associate that, although I imagine there's some weird dreams of spiders wielding hammers.
7
spiders wearing aprons somehow.
They're all around me.
From the outside, you're imagining just a very busy sounding smithy, just, acolytes, going to town, and you peek inside, it's just a single spider. Manning 6 anvils at once or something.
Let's see, Thrum, Fergis, and everyone outside. You settle. Are you guys sleeping out there, or are you coming back in?
I'm gonna sleep out there.
Okay.
Yeah, sleeping out there. Not leaving the heir by himself.
Okay. Oops. 1 second here. Cope, could you roll me a 1d2 real quick? Okay. I assume you're still taking like a watch, Thrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Miku doesn't have to sleep, right?
He does like a hibernation phase.
Okay.
It's a lot like what elves do, where they like enter a meditative trance type deal.
Okay.
So it's shorter, but he does enter one.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would just be absurd that he is just amazing in every way.
I think he's pretty amazing.
I mean, can you have a man crush on something without a gender? Anyway.
A fungus crush?
That sounds worse. Do you like make like a little campfire or something like that? Because I know you talked about doing that since there's some light here.
Yeah, he would.
Okay.
For whatever we eat that night, he'd put up a little campfire as we're moving around, eating. Cook a little boar meat.
Mm-hmm.
Tell some stories. Of course, he's talking nonstop. And, this wall over here reminds me of the time that we were in that cabin over on the east side of Lothar, Kazakh Crack, and blah, 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 blah.
As you're probably just talking to the air, because everyone's already asleep, you're like, you're poking the fire to get the log to produce a little bit more light and sparks. When something hard and metallic, but not overly painful, just whacks you into the back of the head.
He would immediately wheel around and pull his... Actually, just wheel around to see what the hell it was.
You look around, and you don't see anyone immediately, but you look down, and at your feet, and you can tell this thing that hit you in the head, it looks like a shred of chainmail with like some kind of paste substance on it, like a little splatter. It's kind of giving off a scent.
He's gonna pull out a shield, grab the chainmail, pick it up, and throw it back at whatever threw it at him.
Yep, it just kind of rustles into the foliage. You can give me a perception if you want.
There.
Yeah, you don't see anything.
Chainmail falling from the skies. That reminds me of the time that we were in the upside down brawl of 2020.
Just suddenly Ivy yells, "By the stone, we're trying to sleep!"
Sleeping by the stones. Well, that reminds me of one. Have I told you about the time where...
She's just
He's
like
the
pulls
alternate
her
light.
hood up and she's like, should have gone with the spiders. Should have stayed with the spiders. But yeah, other than that, the rest goes by without issue. That brings us to day 121.
That might be the weirdest random encounter I've ever had. What the hell was that?
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Somebody's trying to set a trap.
Well, make a note for when the campaign's over so we can finally ask.
Yes, please.
It's not the weirdest random encounter I've thrown on players. In the Fae game I ran for work, their first random encounter is a bunch of tiny, like, fist-sized fairies hidden in some trees and threw manure at them in their campsite.
Remind me to never agree to a Fae game with you.
It was funny because the two veteran D&D players in that group were so confused. Like they had never had monsters literally just throw harmless shit at them.
Literally.
For a lark. Like, I don't know what to do here. I mean they're just throwing poop.
This breaks video game logic.
So yeah. You all get up in the next morning. The spiders are still doing their thing. They, for those of you who are inside, they do provide food for you.
Okay. What? Well,
They. Okay, before I tell you what they give you, what do you think they're gonna give you, Loki?
I'm thinking it's how basically the insides of critters are liquefied from spider venom, and then they basically just drink it. That's exactly what I'm imagining.
Close. They give you raw insect flesh and what looks like just like drip cavern condensation water.
It's like sushi, really, if you think about it.
Delicious. So much better.
I'm pretty sure if you drank their liquefied innards of insects with their venom, you would just be drinking their venom.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, is if there was like
again.
a non-poison version of it.
Yeah,
like, okay.
They're intelligent. They're like,
Yeah.
let's not poison these guys. But if you're willing to eat that, then you won't have to deduct from your food stores.
Intent on, taking in a bit of culture, he's going to go for it.
I mean, culture's culture, but bad food's bad food.
Haven't you guys been eating cooked scorpion for like a month?
Right?
Cooked, not raw.
Again, it's like sushi. Or sashimi.
It squeaks when you bite into it. You try to go slower, but it just draws out the squeak longer.
It's not really the texture so much as the sound when you eat it.
It's a delicacy.
I think I'll pass on this little cultural exchange. No offense, but I also feel like starting a fire in this place would be more offensive. So I suppose in the morning, run the plan by the Queen and see if she's willing to send any people to help spruce up an area on the coast.
Roll me a persuasion.
Okay, 1 second. Keep having to close my sheet because of...
I'll say this one will be at advantage, because it is a pretty reasonable middle.
14.
The White Widow says, if you manage to convince the Zan to bargain, then we shall dispatch. I am not going to put any of my hunters at risk by having them spend an unknown amount of time in the jungle.
Understandable.
Dead, but there's other predators.
Aye. And with that, I will be taking my leave to speak with the other party then. May take a while.
May you follow the strands of the forever web that guide you to your chosen future.
Yeah, that's a good one. May Father Mountain shelter your people.
Yeah, religious person to religious person.
Exchange blessings.
School's coming around.
Exchange blessings at 50 paces.
Oh man, if only that's how all religions are settled in this use. Right?
Now, if there was only a library nearby.
Just get like a Catholic priest and a rabbi. They walk out and then they just start doing their full blessings at each other.
Bless you. Bless you.
It's just Latin and Hebrew flying through the air.
especially
Yeah.
if
You
you
know,
can see
Gombo,
this
there
coming
does
from
have
you.
to be a library RP section of this campaign somewhere.
Give it time. Give it time.
First, we need to find a library.
Nolgrim's trying. He's finding, archives of, tapestries and whatnot, so he'll get there.
Y'all keep giving our books away.
So yeah, you're led back outside, and you're able to reconvene with the group.
Nolgrim's gonna keep safeguard of his nice silken sheets.
Oh, did you nick those?
Did you forget the towels, man? The towels.
Did you just steal the sheets from the hotel room?
They weren't complimentary? Shit, that might have been what the schedule was saying. All I heard was his clicking language I didn't understand, and he didn't write it down.
Flashback, we get subtitles. Just be sure to give those back. You'd be surprised how many people run off with those. And then you just point to the ground. He's like, oh my god, he's gonna fucking steal them.
God, I hope that's canon now.
That's gold, yes.
Fun fact: spiders do eat their web to get the protein back.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
And suddenly diplomatic relations fall apart because I couldn't understand that the sheets were not complimentary.
Later, as they're seeing us off, bringing gifts, they look in the wagon, and it's just full of sheets.
Just a year from now, when you got real life, a year from now, when you guys are running Dammerhall, you get a spider emissary. So there's this matter of missing sheets from a year ago.
Oh, you should have sat on that.
Freaking Nolgrim's like, I'm out on a run.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be taking off. I'm having a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If you guys are gonna keep going, I'm gonna leave the recording going and just drop the call and restart it when you're done, so that way the recording stops.
All right.
Sounds
I'm
good.
just having too many problems to really focus anything.
No.
Understood. Hope you feel better, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. I can always refresh myself with the recording and everything anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Again, just make sure to drop it, otherwise it'll keep recording for 8+ hours.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Well, main thing I was thinking of doing was going to the north end of the lake. And I think we were going to talk to the gnomes and then go to Zan.
Yeah.
So.
Go fetch quest.
Mm-hmm. So let's start heading towards the lake.
Do you want to just go directly south or back the way you came? It's kind of...
Nolgrim
Might as well map a little more.
Yeah, Nolgrim would want to basically go down and then over and then down. So basically continue to explore unknown areas. Because the completionist in me hates not knowing what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So then straight across to this region, then straight down, and then we're pretty much where we're going.
All right. So nothing really happens that day. So day 122 is up next. Oh, I can put on the Fungal Jungle music now. All right. And then, so for day 122, you want to go here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nothing that day. So then to this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, or up. What's you doing? So Loki, you say to go up.
Might as well clear the wall.
Yeah. For one more day, travel to help clear out a bit more.
Yo, come on. There we go. Tool was giving me fits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and straight south, as long as we don't hit nothing dangerous.
Massive pile of lava.
Well,
All right, we are getting a bit low on rations there, fellas. For us, if we could take a day and try and hunt another boar or something. We've got at least 10 days of traveling for us.
123 is the day right now. All right.
well, we can always go slow and forage, and we can eat the mushrooms too.
This is true. Very true.
All right, well, we're only down to 10 days. I mean,
Yeah, we can go down 2 more to the coast and spend a couple days foraging.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. So you could this day. So day 124. Excuse me. Reveal the next one. So be sure to note down 1 bulk silk sheets there, Loki.
I can do that.
If you're stealing them. Okay. And then you're gonna go 1 more south for day 125.
Yerp.
All right. Okay. Let me see here. All right. Do a thing. All right. So that, I guess, night when people are resting, gathered around, you got your little campfire going, and Taskill, roll me a perception check while I roll something. Okay, 1 moment. Let's see here. Sorry, doing some behind the scenes stuff real quick. Okay, well, good news is I remember the passive perception is a thing, and your passive is higher than 8. So, you just faintly hear the sound of something scraping on one of the edge of one of the giant mushrooms around you.
Well, very calmly stand up and then give a shout to try and scare it off and or alarm my compatriots out of their sleep.
Oh, a shout will definitely get Nolgrim up.
I didn't take any bread.
What is it?
Something's out in the bushes. I suppose the mushrooms.
As you talk, your dark vision adapts, and you notice that there are figures creeping out from the mushrooms all around you. Let me move you over to a map here. Fog of War.
Yes.
Okay, you can see that.
No.
Okay, so it's being shitty then. Hold on. I don't know why the reveal everything tool was not working there.
And I've got a tiny little square of gray and green. There we go.
There we go.
That is, yep.
It's definitely drow. A couple of them have taken up positions on top of some mushrooms around you, and it looks like a few of them have what looks like black and white hunting leopards. This one on top of the mushroom calls down to you in Undercommon. Says, well, not what we were expecting to find when we followed the trail. You must be the dwarves that foiled that little plan in Fastervault.
Aye, that would be us.
Back in Dwarven, hey, you found a worthy end. And spit into the dirt beside me.
Which makes me wonder why you haven't started running yet.
As humorous as it would be, and quite pleasing to my Baroness, I'm sure, to bring her back your beards, you're not the quarry I've been tasked to find. Though I suspect that she wanted us to find you first.
Thrum reaches onto the back of his neck and feels the spot where the gooey chainmail hit him and thought, that bitch.
And Baroness thought that she was just a deserter. Took her troops, sought to go off to start her own little fiefdom. Perhaps ridiculous. But now that I'm seeing you, maybe it's more likely... Oh, Ivy should be full health. That, you dealt with her guard patrol, and she somehow slipped away from you. And now that we've been in pursuit, she's crossed paths with you again.
Looking over at Fergis, even though he's not here. Told you she'd be trouble.
We don't even know who you're talking about, and you woke me up, so somebody's about to get punched in the face.
You say trouble, I see a decently sized force that's suddenly out of the protection of their fortress. Good to know they're hurt a bit more.
Yeah, it'll save us time for later.
I would hope that's all in Dwarven, but hey, they may understand it.
Listen, every moment I spend speaking with you illiterates, the farther Hestia is getting away from me. So just tell me what you know about her whereabouts and what she's doing, and we might just be on our way.
Nolgrim will look at the others. We're gonna kick their ass. Say it in Dwarven, of course.
Aye, scrawny as they be.
And which one was talking?
It seems like I'm missing some crazy shit.
The one up
This
on
one
the
up here.
mushroom.
Yeah, shit's about to go down, Richard. If you want to walk in, roll.
We was going to the lake, and you know. Nope.
Yeah, we're minding our business, and these assholes came over and picked a fight.
While I'm here, I'll listen. In case I can't do anything, I'll let you know.
Yeah, understood, man.
Combat might be ensuing, so
Yep.
might be a little bit easier than roleplay, depending on how you feel.
Yeah, it's all good.
Nolgrim will say, we know a fair amount about her, but how about this? And it goes with the Eldritch Blast at the guy that's been talking.
All right. Give me
So some context. Are these drow?
These are drow.
And they just kind of approached us and were like, "We're about to fuck you up," kind of thing.
They've been tracking that drow that you captured and let go. And they ran into you because that scrap of chainmail that hit Thrum in the back of the head had a scent on it.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, she was definitely
that was well
she
played.
Threw them onto our trail.
Of course, she threw it to Thrum. It was one of her like sweet nothings to him.
Yep.
I rolled randomly and I got Thrum. I'm like fate.
Yep, it was meant to be. That ship continues to sail.
I forgot. Now he owes her one.
All right. Well, you get your surprise round attack roll there. While I bring up the initiative counter. And I will put on some Rock'em Sock'em music.
Let's beat him up.
Let's do it.
All right.
There it is.
We got a decently sized adventuring party at this point.
We're still level 3, right?
I thought you were level 4.
Yeah, we're
level 4. That's right.
We're level 4, but 4th level you don't get much, so pretty much level 3.
Right.
I think everyone. Oh yeah, there's also Ivy. And Miku.
Good, shows my feet. Yeah, Warcaster. Okay.
Just so this encounter isn't a total flustercluck, I'm just gonna say Miku's fighting someone.
Okay.
It's gonna be like a lot of stuff anyway. So.
Right.
Plus, as a GM, I always feel weird when it's like 2 turns of me rolling against me. I'm just like, Are you having fun, guys? I'm fighting myself.
Right.
Here, I'll roll for Ivy.
I had a blast when I made you debate yourself.
No, I think it can be fun sometimes just to see how the dice roll themselves.
Oh, it can definitely be fun, but
like with the mayor of the last town.
Let's see here. But yeah, because that was a really good one because it was almost thematic. There we go. Now everyone should be up here, descending. Did you do your blast
Eldritch
there?
Blast, yep.
Blast.
Attack for 24. Damage is 6.
Okay, that hits him, but does not take him out.
I would have laughed if it did.
Okay. Here, I'll mark blue dots on the ones that are up high.
About how high up are they?
15, 20 feet.
Okay.
All right, hunting leopard time. Okay, let me just make sure I understand their ability. Awesome. Okay, so yeah. So this hunting leopard will dash here and it'll be attacking Taskill. This leopard will dash here and attack Ivy. And this one will go here and attack Freya. So first up is a claw attack against Taskill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I forgot to set it to not inquire about advantage every time. There we go. Claw attack against Taskill, 20.
That'll hit.
All right. So you take 5 slashing damage and give me a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're knocked prone. All right, and now one against. If someone else, I have Ivy's sheet open, but
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool. That'll hit. 4 slashing damage against Ivy, and she can also do a strength saving throw, or do a strength saving throw. She's also knocked prone, and then against Freya, 14
That would be 14 versus
AC.
AC. No.
Okay, then you're fine. Okay, and now they, as a bonus action, get to do a bite attack against anyone they knock prone. So, Taskill, 23.
Yep.
7 piercing damage.
And I know when you're prone, melee attacks have advantage against you.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Ivy, 23 as well. 6 piercing damage. And that's the end of their turn. As these leopards just jump into the fray and just pounce down on Taskill and Ivy and start biting at their throats. Nolgrim.
All right, Nolgrim's going to draw his sword and shield and take a swing at this leopard here.
By the way, what's your armor? Not your AC, but the actual physical armor you wear, Taskill.
Chain shirt.
Okay, so then that means you don't. Sorry, not Taskill. Nolgrim. You probably don't wear that when you're asleep.
Light armor?
Is it light armor?
Chain shirt's medium.
Is it? Oh, okay.
But your shield and everything is no problem.
Okay.
So I'm just keep that in mind. Is all I'm saying.
All right. So
Yeah, I think the only one that's wearing their armor when they're sleeping is me.
And probably Ivy.
Yeah.
So let me.
It was my watch, but yeah.
Oh yeah, and Taskill probably has his armor on because it's his watch. It's very reasonable.
Okay. So attacking the leopard.
Okay. That'll hit. It's very, very badly wounded.
And then I think that's my turn because drawing a shield and weapon is move action, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's my full turn.
All right. Ivy.
She'll attack the one by her with her short sword.
Standing up's half a move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it provokes. And
Yeah, no, I just forgot to say it, but yeah, she's gonna stand up. So attack.
Mostly confirming because my turn's next.
Yeah. That'll hit.
And I attack. So 15
Super
damage.
I'll be piling up the tokens over here because otherwise this battle space will get very crowded.
She'll move here with the rest of her movement.
Okay.
And make another dagger attack against the one next to Freya.
Gotcha.
For 7.
Okay. Yeah. And hit and hurt it. Cool. Taskill.
As I'm getting up, I say in Elven that thanks for bringing more meat, and swing down on the cat. Bad legs one-handed. Ooh.
ooh,
Oh yeah. Insta dead.
All right, and then bonus action to cast. I think it's a bonus action to cast the weapon. Yep, bonus action. And swing it on him.
That'll hit. A nasty blow. All right, Freya.
Okay, I'm going to step away from it, provoking an attack of opportunity. However, my
Okay.
skilled defender is going to provide it with disadvantage because of its deflect attack.
Nice. 15.
15's going to miss.
Cool.
And then Freya is going to take out the Gloomstalker. I'm going to put a bolt in this one. Boom. No.
That'll miss. It does not hit Esty, though.
And then the Steel Defender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the deflect attack is a reaction, so it can still attack.
Yep.
It's going to step up here and Force Empowered Rend. That does hit, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah. It absolutely does.
For 8 force damage.
Just wraps its throat around the cat's neck and explodes its head off.
I think the one made of metal is a little bit better.
Do they underestimate the purity of the machine? All right. Thrum.
How high up are these things that are on top of the mushrooms?
I would say that these green ones are 15 feet tall. The yellow one the other guy's on is 20 feet.
I missed that. The yellow ones the other guys are on?
This one.
Ah, okay.
It's still pretty green, but yeah, they're more greenish yellow.
They have yellow spots. These have green spots.
Yeah.
Pretty greenish. Okay.
One's greener, less. One's more yellow.
I definitely didn't just select some mushrooms at random and slide the slider to a random spot.
No. I get it. All right, he's gonna move to here. Bonus action, go large.
Okay.
I've forgotten how to do that.
Right-click your token.
There you go. Right-click the token. Okay. And he would be right there if that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he is going to grab this one, or attempt
Okay.
to.
Give me athletics. So I roll there. Not very good athletics.
Shards.
19. Oh, Dimbley dodges it.
That was good. Oh, wait. He gets... Oh, he's not raging. Okay, never mind. Yep, that was it.
All right, and I think raging doesn't increase your attack roll. Oh no, it gives you advantage on strength.
Yeah, you get advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Fergus.
I'm going to give advantage to Ivy for next turn, telling her to target this one up here.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm going to shoot at this one next to the Thrum.
Okay. Okay. So that will. Oh, just hit. 10 damage. Takes that arrow just savagely center mass.
That's my turn.
All right. Drow agent's turn. He is going to. Let me see here. Yeah, he is going to bonus action disengage. Or actually, he doesn't have to do that because the thingamabobber doesn't do AOs. Okay, so
But would he know that?
Yeah, he would know that. So instead, he is going to fire a hand crossbow at Thrum. So let me pull up his sheet. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, that hits.
So there's a little bit more going on here than you might think. So first you take 9, and then you take an additional 12 damage from his sneak attack. And then give me a Constitution saving throw at advantage.
Because poison.
He's going to try and soak some, but I'll do that first.
Okay. Yeah, you pass.
Alright. So he soaks 6.
Alright.
9 plus 12, 21, 15. And temporary hit point. So, okay.
And
So
then
he takes.
Then he'll move back here, hop down, and then he will bonus action hide. So I will just, where's the hidden one I made? Ah, there we go. And then I will just secretly roll a stealth right here.
Is it a free action to try to keep track of him, or?
It is a action to search, is the official ruling.
Ah.
So it makes rogues so elusive they've got cover.
Although, isn't if their stealth meet is below our passive perception, we still notice them though?
Yes, this is true. However, he rolled over your passives.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was going to come into play, but I meant for future.
Yep. All right. Drow soldier's turn. This fellow over here is going to pitch a fairy fire. Let's see, fairy fire. What is the radius on that? 20-foot cube. So let me measure something real quick. I think that should be. Yeah, he will get everyone except Thrum and Taskill. Needs to give me a, I believe it's a dexterity saving throw. Yeah.
What about Esky?
I guess Esky too. I'll roll Esky real quick.
I mean, if she's gonna go down, I want her to go down fighting.
Where did I put the other Highland Yak? Okay.
Although if it gets Freya, I don't think it would get Esky. Oh yeah, it would. Totally.
Well, either way, Esky
why would
fails.
it go 5 squares? Are these? Oh, we're at 4-foot squares.
What?
You've got us on 4-foot squares, right?
It looks 5 feet on
5.
me.
Why does it say 4?
Is yours not snapping to grid?
It might not be snapping. It
It's
might be
a
snapping.
Oh no, I've got it snapped to center.
Yep. Yeah, but it's a 20-foot square, is what it is.
Gotcha.
So it's here. It's
That's
like
cool. I don't want to bog it down.
it's like
We can keep going.
this.
We clearly don't care about the cow. So
So it looks like Esky and Fergis failed. Everyone else succeeded. So I'll put a little dot on Fergus. All right. So then that was this guy. So I'll put the little channeling icon on him. There we are. So these 2 archers up here are going to take shots at Fergus with their light crossbows. So 1, 2. These should be at advantage. So I'll do another one. So that's 1 attack roll. So 13, 16.
16 will hit.
Okay. So 8 piercing damage, and give me a Constitution saving throw at advantage.
And while they're hitting me, I'm going to yell at them. We're like, what kind of fucking elves use crossbows?
I love that he gets bogged down in the minutia.
Yeah, that passes.
Well, he grew up with elves, and I think I'm pretty sure wood elves and stuff are primarily bows and stuff.
Bows,
Yeah.
yeah.
High elves and wood elves are both traditional bow
But
builders.
as he's getting shot, he's like, "Wait a minute."
Then...
I'm not ready to talk about wood elves after what happened to my last one.
He got sliced in half. Anyway, then this drow is gonna close in on Taskill, take a shot at him with his short sword. Miss terribly, even though that wasn't supposed to be an advantage, but still misses. And then these other two will focus up on good old Thrum. 1, 2.
That's it.
1, 8 piercing, 4 piercing.
All right, he can only soak one time, so he's going to soak one. The big one. Wait, is that a? He'll soak the 8.
Okay. Also, all the hunting leopards are dead. All right. So, Nolgrim.
Nolgrim's gonna hit this one with the Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Alright.
That'll hit. It'll do damage. And then he has to pass, I believe it's DC 10. He loses the fairy fire.
Nolgrim just gives him the finger.
Hey, so Esky goes out.
And then Nolgrim move up there.
Oh, sorry. I clicked at the exact same time there. All right. AV.
I'm no longer seeing the target that she was intending. I guess she'll go for one of the targets that are up top, so I'll say this one here. She has sight of that one, right?
Yeah, she has sight on that one.
And she has advantage, so she will get sneak attack. Ooh, that's some bad rolls there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a hard miss.
1 and a 2.
All right.
Knowing Fairy Fire, though, I think I'm going to have her spread out a little bit.
Okay.
Well, trouble coming to him.
Can she use a bonus action to hide?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sorry, I'm not in my right headspace.
No problem.
No, it's no problem. Also, didn't she swap weapons too? So keep that in mind.
She did. So I thought that wasn't an action to do.
I'm always super fuzzy on that myself. So yeah, it's fine. Just go ahead and roll the hide. It's fine.
She has advantage on stealth because she's in darkness.
Rocky terrain. Yep. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Thanks for bearing with me, guys.
No problem.
No, it's no
We're
problem.
here to help you.
I've been there, man.
Yeah.
When I had my wisdom teeth out, I spent 40 minutes staring at a picture of a sailboat trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, I know I don't want to bog down you guys with more talks about tooth problems, but I think this is the reason this is happening is because the tooth that I had a temporary filling because it wasn't good enough for a normal filling, and they were going to pull it at a later date. Well, the later date's come and gone, and it needs to be pulled. So I still have another one I have to deal with.
Plus, when you move one tooth, it makes all the others readjust and hurt.
I've been there.
When I had my teeth out, or my wisdom teeth out, I insisted that I was fine and could get up, and I stood up and tipped over and crushed a nurse into the wall, and then I proceeded to curse out my mother the whole way home. In a family where we didn't cuss.
Nothing makes you madder than tooth pain, I've noticed, by the way.
I never cussed in front of my mom in my life, and I was 17 years old, and I just cursed the whole way home like I was on the back of the school bus.
I had braces, and I hated it because every month you would get the rubber bands changed on them, and I had them on all my teeth. And when they do that, it shifts all your teeth. So about 1 week after they change it, it's complete misery.
Constant
There was one
pain.
time I remember, I was in high school with this. because they added an extra. They decided to double up to make it move faster, so it was extra sore. I remember I had to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich by gumming it. I had to use my lips. It took me an hour. It was the most miserable experience of my life.
One more thing, and I'll drop it. Yeah, when I was living in Nebraska, I apparently had a really bad problem with one of my other wisdom teeth. When I got the tooth out finally, I came home, and Laura barely recognized that I was her husband. My attitude had changed so dramatically, and I didn't realize how bad it was until after that was done.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like she's like, I thought I was just doing something wrong, and you were mad at me all the time. I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, hopefully you feel a lot better after this.
Yeah, hopefully this is resolved soon. Anyway, continue.
So Taskill killed the drow. He axed them and then hammered him.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
He communisted them. Oh wait, no, I was getting sick.
Yeah.
All right, Freya.
All right, going to send a fairy fire the way of the agent up here.
You don't know where he is. I just moved him there because he's stealth.
No, he's stealth. Okay. Well, that puts a damper on that plan. He wouldn't be able to stealth if I could fairy fire.
This is true.
Well, technically, a fairy fire is a radius. Did I ever see him over, like, in that general area?
He ran over like a grove of mushrooms and he jumped down behind. So it's definitely a broken line of sight situation.
Gombo put his avatar there just to hold. We don't know where he actually is.
Yeah.
All right. Lame. In that case, I'm going to send...
Well, do you have access to Fairy Fire?
Yeah.
It's an area of effect. You might be able to hit him if you just guess a rough area he's in.
I think that's also beyond our line of sight, and like it breaks up because of all the mushrooms in the way. Is the issue.
Sending Steel Defender over there, and I'm pulling out the Gloomstalker and shooting that one the Steel Defender is by.
Okay, cool.
Come on. 15.
That hits.
For 10 piercing.
Yeah, the bolt flies through his eye and comes out the other side.
And then, the Steel Defender doesn't have to attack. How far did he travel to get over there?
Oh, I totally forgot, because you probably would have had time to identify it. Those last remaining 4 magic crossbow bolts, because you probably did identify on them, they are +1 crossbow bolts.
Okay. So, Steel Defender was...
Yeah, you can keep
15.
moving.
Yeah.
In 5e, can you have a +1 bolt and a +1 crossbow make a +2?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
They don't do bonus types.
Shield Defender moves over there, and he's going to force Empowered Rend.
Nice. That'll miss.
Sadly. That's my turn.
All right. Thrum. I'll just move this
All
avatar
right, Thrum will rage as a bonus action, and he will attempt to grab this one.
Okay.
And he is doing rage.
12.
And grab at advantage. Wow, barely.
Yeah, you still get him though. So roll your damage. So you grab him, and the thorny stone of your hands just impale him, and he dies.
All right, I'm gonna keep holding him in that hand though.
That's cool.
For next round, and he's going to. Just gonna move one step up here.
Okay. Fergis. Richard?
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I was saying, luckily Thrum didn't fuck me too much because there's still an ally next to this guy. But I'm going to pelt him.
I like how we're all circled around Fergis.
Yeah, that'll miss.
Yeah. And I'll give advantage to Nolgrim.
Mhm.
Like, screaming at him about the ones up high, and he's one of the few people that can reach. I say as most of us have ranged options now.
Okay. It is the Drow agent's turn. 23, I imagine, will hit Nolgrim without his armor.
Yep.
All right, so that's 7 damage plus 6 additional damage, and you can give me a Constitution saving throw.
All right. It's minus 13. Then Constitution at advantage.
Yep, because it's a poison.
Nope.
Ooh.
But I would like to hit him with my Hellish Rebuke as a reaction.
Absolutely.
So, it gives me a Dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 18.
That'll succeed, so only takes half that. Of 9 fire damage. So
9.
half of that.
4.
Damn, that was a
Oh,
lackluster.
they round up in 5e.
No. Not my experience.
Nope.
I just made that up.
It wouldn't have killed him either way. So, let's see. Let me read the effect of the poison. Okay. Oh, that's fun. So the target must succeed a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned for 1 hour. If the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the target is also unconscious while poisoned this way.
Ouch.
So you just got tranked, son.
Yes, I did.
So as you fell to the ground, you're like, screw you!
Right.
And he burned a little bit.
Yep.
So then this guy is going to run over here, and then he is going to bonus action hide again. He got a natural 20, so he just vanishes like Batman. And that's his turn. So Drow Soldier time. Let's see. This one is going to attack Steel Defender. 10 will miss. However, these two up on high see a vulnerable target, so they are going to focus fire on Nolgrim. This will be at advantage.
It will be a disadvantage because they're firing ranged at a prone target.
Okay, see, this is one of those things that, as the GM, I'm going to say they've got elevation and he is lying flat.
That's fair. I'm just pointing out the rules. You don't have to. You can decide what to do as your own.
You're absolutely right, and most of the time that's what I would go with. But this is one of those cases. And by all means, if you guys pull something like this, I'll give the same advantage to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also he's asleep. If he was conscious, it might be a different story.
Keep in mind, anytime I'm mentioning this stuff, it's not like I'm trying to be like, oh my god, you have to do it this way. I'm just helping people with things that I know so they can.
Hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure that second guy's crossbow implodes. But the first one totally hits, though.
Yeah. Also, 3 out of 4 of those rolls was 5.
Right.
Yell at him. Way to miss a sleeping target.
5 piercing damage.
Did Richard just chastise someone for their rolls?
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't get to do it often, okay?
Yeah.
I love it.
Considering I got like 5 natural ones last Rainlord game.
Nolgrim, you're in Sleepy Town.
And there's no awaking from damage and all that? It's just
not
alcohol?
Until someone removes the poisoned condition from you.
Gotcha.
So, Ivy. It's you, Richard.
Yeah, I know, I was muted.
No worries.
I assume she's not being able to be hidden from these targets.
No, she's small. She probably took cover behind a mushroom, so she can get her sneak attack.
Okay, she's going to target this one up here then.
Okay. Oh yeah, that'll hit.
Hooray for that high damage sneak attack.
super dead.
Well, that was the only one my hammer could reach, but,
Well, my bad.
well, maybe I haven't checked the diagonal. Oh, 20 feet. I mean, if I could see his ass.
Get you ready in action to move the hammer in and attack.
That might be. I mean, it's a bonus action. And
Yeah. I would allow that if you didn't do any other action on your turn.
Other thing I was going to do was try and give some cover to Nolgrim.
Yeah, you could do that.
I'll ready the hammer for the other action.
Okay. So you're just readying an action basically.
Mhm.
Because I'm just gonna say this is that you can I'm fine with you preparing the action to move and use the spiritual weapon, but even though that's normally a bonus action, I'm gonna say that's an action. Otherwise, the action economy in this game is gonna get real fucky real fast.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Freya.
I think you're muted.
That he is.
Moving there, firing at the one Steel Defender's next to with the Gloomstalker.
Okay. That'll do it.
Or piercing.
Catches him in the leg.
And then Steel Defender with the Force Rend.
Oh yeah, that'll hit him.
9.
Exactly enough to kill him.
That's the end of my turn.
All right. Thrum, you're holding a dead drow.
I am.
Throw it at the other drow. Improvised thrown weapon.
A long
first, too long, maybe. 40 feet.
Maybe at disadvantage just for the hell of it. I can't guarantee you would do a lot of damage, but
Rule of cool.
Yeah.
This is what
rule
makes it
cool.
worthwhile.
I would allow it for rule
Yeah.
cool. At disadvantage. You could use your strength still because it's a thrown weapon.
So, what would I roll? Just the dexterity?
No. You would basically. Do you have like a javelin or something?
Yeah.
Just click that, and then we just ignore whatever the damage is
Because it runs off of strength if it's a thrown weapon. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. But you're. Yeah. No, yeah. Go ahead.
So at disadvantage.
Yeah, disadvantage.
Would you say since she's raging that it would cancel it out since it's kind of a strength cost?
It's an attack roll, not a strength check.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not level to get reckless attack.
Either way. Either way.
Okay. Roll me a 1d2. This is how we're determining what the effect is going to be.
All right.
Hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here.
Well, if this is happening in 6-second increments, this is definitely why that guy rolled 2 natural ones and saw a body flying towards him.
Yep. That's actually a perfect idea, Richard. Thank you. That's better than what I was about to do. I got a funny idea here. Okay. All right. So now I need to roll another thing for him. Okay. So this is what happens. He's taking aim at Nolgrim, who's unconscious on the ground as Taskill's running, and he hears a sound and looks as a bloody ribbons of a drow soldier hits him, but it like bounces off the mushroom a little bit, and he accidentally shoots himself with his own crossbow. So not only does he take 4 damage, he failed the Constitution saving throw. So he is now unconscious and poisoned. and he'll now fall off the mushroom and take 1d6 falling damage.
I've accomplished my goal for this game. I just had a humanoid
still alive.
weapon against another humanoid.
Amazingly, he is still alive. I only did the shooting himself thing because the double natural one.
Not only did you attack him with his ally, but then you made him shoot himself in the process.
So he's asleep over there. I assume that's everything.
I remember when I did that as a corn marine.
That first session was of that Black Crusade game was so promising. Oh man, I just remember getting you down because I put a heavy bolter emplacement around a blind corner. Fergis.
So I'm gonna give advantage to Freya,
and
then I'm not gonna do that because I have a different plan. Sorry, take that back. I'm gonna go over here and stealth. So I'm going to hold my attack until I see that guy pop out of stealth.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Okay, we're gonna have some freaking bullet time action going on here.
Right.
Okay. One moment. Don't need this leopard sheet, and all the drow soldiers are either dead or asleep. Okay. This one will be advantage against Taskill. 18.
19 AC, but
nice.
So you just catch it with the shield.
Yep, you lucky SOB, or like pings off of a pauldron or something. So he's still got movement, and he's gonna hide again, but Fergus gets his attack first.
And so is Taskill.
Yeah, Taskill's hammer.
Oh, but Fergus might beat him there. All right, go ahead and just for thematics there, Taskill.
Okay.
Weapon him. Yeah. So he appears from behind and he fires a crossbow bolt at Taskill, which pings off of his pauldron, and he sends in a spiritual weapon. But then Fergus steps out from behind his own mushroom. I guess it's like a John Wick versus John Wick off over here.
Right.
And puts one into this guy's eye, killing him.
This is why you use a bow.
And that leaves all the drow dead except for the sleeping poisoned one.
Camera pans to Esky chewing mushrooms in the middle of the fight.
Yeah. Not a care in the world.
Yep. Not like he could
Good
see.
old combat trained yak.
Can't even see the fighting going on through his lock of hair.
To be fair, you think they would have learned after the town.
I mean, there weren't like there was a ton of survivors. And you guys have successfully won in combat. And I think that's probably where we're going to call it for the night.
Yeah.
You want to search the bodies next time?
And tie up the other drow?
Sure. Like, he's asleep for an hour.
Yeah, and we'll have to deal with Nolgrim as well.
Yeah.
He's just getting back to his long rest. He got bored mid-fight.
Yeah. GG, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What experience are we at? Well, I guess you'll have to tell.
I'll do the tally. I've been discovering the power of spreadsheets, so I've been being a little bit more accurate on my counts.
I've never been able to figure out how to fucking work a spreadsheet. I've never had to do one for a job, so that's probably why.
I'm doing like kindergartner level spreadsheet stuff, but it's making me feel really good about myself.
I had to develop spreadsheets complex enough to solve engineering problems, so I'm pretty familiar with at least the equation aspect of them.
Mm-hmm.
We need 1,400 more experience to level up. I doubt we're going to get it this session. I was like looking at it, I'm like, I'm at 5,100. Soon I shall have action surge.
I'd like to think that Fergus coming out of cover was what threw his aim off just enough to not hit me.
All right, and then a drop.
I can do that shit too.
Okay. And
Yeah, like he popped up from the mushroom to take aim, and then you hear Fergus, Bazinga!
So, everyone gets 200 XP.
So what are we up to now?
I got 4,400. 4,400. That's what
I'm
I
at
got.
51. I'm at 5,100.
I have 5,100
According
before.
to my tally, which I did the whole entire math for, you
Mhm.
should be at 5,300.
As of after you tally up the experience.
Yeah, after you tally up all the experience. So
And, like from the section and stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Numbers. How do they work?
listen, all you guys need to know is that my count was higher than yours, so just roll with it.
I'm
Yes.
not complaining. What's the next level?
I think
The
Richard and I would have been at
next
5,500.
level is 6,500.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say Richard and I leveled up.
Something.
What I basically did is I have on this spreadsheet now, I've just got like the sessions lined up until 50, and then I have a XP per session, and then they all add up to a total column. So
Mhm.
I don't have to stress my poor little brain with all that terribly hard mental math of adding whole numbers up. So yeah, good
Yep.
session, everybody.
Oh yeah.
Little combat in there at the end.
That's fun. Sorry, I just hung up on everyone.
I got to drop a little lore bomb on you there.
Mm-hmm.
As I went out of my way to describe the interior of the Skizral's lair a lot better than they did in the book. I'm just gonna keep harping on Fire Mountain games, because when they literally describe the lair of the Skizral as it's a cave, I'm like, you're in the Underdark, asshole. Come on.
Oh, you made all that up?
About the sheets and everything, yeah. They did provide
Wow,
a combat map if you attacked them. So it's hilarious that they're like, there's 300 spiders here, but our combat map is like 15 feet wide. So I'm like, I guess there's lots of verticality. I'll go with that. There's spiders. So I'm just all about shitting on them now because I've been having to do a lot of edits to this, and to be fair, they did ghost this, so
Mhm.
I can't even say, well, they're trying their hardest.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Because they're clearly not.